Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
Adam, what's your point? The future looks bright.
My handshake is better than anything I ever saw. It's right here.
You are a one-of-one?
My son's right about
I
it.
don't think I've ever said this before.
All right, a lot going on still. Of course, the top of the story is for the millionth time. Adam told you 20 times. Turn on. Can you just grab the phone? Honestly, just grab the phone from him, Tom.
Done.
No,
Done.
do me. Tom, no, I'm gonna ask you one time. Put your phone over there, please. Can somebody grab Tom's phone and put it over there, please? Every podcast I have to ask you, and Adam, just ask you right now. We're live. Please give the phone to Mikhail and put it over there. Thank you, Mikhail. Okay. All right, let's get right into
Tom,
it.
we still love you, though.
Every time podcast.
I told him
deal
2
with
seconds
this,
before the podcast,
and it
turn your
still
phone
happens.
on silent. He goes, I got you.
Death toll in Iran, 1,200 to 1,300. 6 confirmed in U.S. It's not getting nothing is slowing down. There was a lot of big interviews done yesterday on claims. They were saying, what are you going to do if U.S. attacks? You know, we are looking forward to it. We're going to play some of these clips of what happens there. And then the Kurds getting involved, the rumors of is U.S. giving them weapons. No, Israel may. We are not. There's a clip and there's a history of, you know, Kurds and the IRGC. They're not fans of him. They're probably more pro-American than anything else. And them getting involved is probably not a good look for Iran right now. And then you got the Lebanon stuff that's going on at the same time. And gas prices, Rob, can you do me a favor and run a poll to see how much have gas prices in the last week gone up in your area? First one put 25 to 50 cents. Put none, same. Put 25 to 50 cents, 50 cents to 75 cents, 75 cents to $1. Let's see what comes up. Or 75 cents plus. Run the poll. I'm curious how it's doing to you. I know, Rob, you experienced something this morning. Let's see what the market's going to be saying about this. And then aside from that, we have a few other things that's going on with what the possibilities of Iran could do with Strait of Hormuz. It looks like there's still no movement going on there till today. We'll talk about what the gas, oil prices are right now, Tom. I'm sure you have the numbers, and we'll get the latest there. And then stories coming out with Anthropic talking about the fact that the AI, the guy didn't want to address the fact that it may be sentient. 30% AI is sentient, like it's a living mechanism, like it has a certain things for itself, and that's concerning, and the government's getting involved. And then Kristi Noem, who was just on a podcast, what was it, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, I don't know what it was, something like that. Yeah. And next thing you know, stories came out. There was the hearing, and then right after the hearing, you know, she no longer has the job that she had. It may be a different job that they announced. I think they even announced what that job could be, an envoy. And aside from that, we have a bunch of other things that we need to get to. Who the replacement's going to be? Who is Mark Wayne Mullen? I see a lot of headlines saying, hot-headed Mark Wayne Mullen is replacing Kristi Noem. Do you want this person who wanted to pick a fight with Sean O'Brien, the former Teamster, the current Teamster president, whom we've had on a podcast? A lot of those stories are circulating. But aside from that, Michelle Obama said it claims no way Trump's administration behavior could be acceptable from the first black family in the White House. And Vinny's got some thoughts on that.
Wait, she's playing victim?
Sounds like
I've never heard.
victimhood card.
This will be. I'll have
It's not common, but every once in a while.
So weird.
Besson says they're raising the global tariff rates to 15% this week. Spain categorically denies White House claim it will cooperate on Iran war. Trump was telling me that we're talking about, what was it, Tom? A plane was
You're not flying over our airspace with armed weapons.
Nothing. They're not supporting
go around.
it.
We're not going to be part of this. You're not using our airspace.
No to war. Spain PM hits back at Trump. Threat to cut, trade over airbase dispute. And remember when they were talking about what's going to happen with the tariffs? Mm-hmm. Are they going to give the money back or not? How soon? And it's going to be in lawsuits for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Well, here's a Wall Street Journal story for you. Judge orders government to begin refunding more than $130 billion in tariffs, and that's that. Laser weapons deployed in Operation Epic Fury as Space Force stops Iran's missiles in their tracks. What's this laser weapons? Why are people talking about this? Trump's got thoughts. 74 retired U.S. generals, admirals back Iran strikes, warn Tehran, seeks to spill American blood. And then aside from that, we got a few other things that we'll get into if we have time. Newsom, was on the, Jimmy Kimmel show, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And on the Jimmy Kimmel show, he asked them questions about why does it take so long to get permits to build a house. Nancy Mace called out everybody. And in a part of the call out, this is kind of weird. And a lot of people are talking about this. It's worth talking about. House kills effort to release all congressional sexual misconduct and harassment reports. It's pretty wild, Vinny, when you hear a story like this.
Including settlements paid with taxpayer dollars.
That's intense. Of course, we're gonna talk about that, and I know Adam's got a lot of to say about that and defending. So we'll see. And then Azerbaijan furious with Iran as war spills over its border. Having said that, gang, you guys heard. I think there's a massive leadership taking place at the Trump Doral. Trump even yesterday said, "Hey, go to Trump Doral. Go to Trump Doral." And guess what? We're holding our annual sales leadership summit that we do once a year at the Trump Doral, March 25th through the 27th. If you're somebody that runs a business $1 million or higher and you got 5 salespeople, this may be the right event for you when you want to watch this video. Go ahead, Rob.
There are 3 different types of sales leaders I've worked with the last 20 years. One of them are those that are a boss, that are telling you what to do. One of them is the one that wants to be your friend. He wants to say, "Hey, Johnny, let me help you get to this next level." And then the other one is the leader that's sitting down with you, accountable, challenge, pushing you. You can do more, expectation, business planning. Each one of them has pros and blind spots. Once a year, I host an event called the Sales Leadership Summit. This year, we're doing it at the beautiful Trump Doral, March 25th through the 27th, where we talk about topics like this, 200-plus pages in a manual where people from around the world, you have to do a minimum of $1 million a year and 5 salespeople to qualify to attend this. So if you're someone that's watching and saying, "I think I'm like a boss, I think I'm like a friend, I think I'm a leader, I want to find my blind spots," click on a link below, fill out the information. One of our consultants will get a hold of you.
Beautiful. Click on the link below or go to that QR code. We talk about a lot of different things. 200-page manual on how we took a business from 0 to 60,000 agents and eventually sold it for $250 million. If you're somebody that's running a business, sales team, and you want to find strategies to accelerate your growth going into 2027, do not miss Sales Leadership Summit. With that being said, let's get right into it. Okay, so Iran. With everything that's taking place right now with Iran, Rob, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it is an interview that's taken. Oh, by the way, this is the gas poll that you ran. Okay, let's talk about the poll first. How much have gas prices in the area increased? Can you go back to it, please? None, 20%. So that's a fifth. 25 to 50 cents, 49%. 50 cents to 75 cents, 18%. 75 cents plus 13%, which is 1 out of 6. So that, Rob, how much was gas prices for you when you filled it up this morning?
It's around $3.50 in my area, but that's up from last weekend. Last Friday it was about $2.70. From
$2.70 to $3.50.
Yep.
With gas prices.
Yes,
what is crude oil price right now, Tom? What is it looking like right now?
I think West Texas Intermediate opened this morning at 72. Will you do that? Just WTI price? Oh,
87.
Up $6 today.
And Tom, what's the ideal price?
By the way, did you just hear Tom's reaction?
$6.
No. Did you? Tom meant to say 82, not 72. Okay.
Yes.
Right, Tom. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Fair to say? So Tom meant to say 82, and it's 87. Okay, it's 87.
Going up.
$6 today.
So Tom, if this is $6 today, and you're seeing, let's talk purely brass tacks, how the individual is going to be impacted by this. Whether you're like Adam, you don't drive and you take Ubers, or if you're somebody that drives and you pay for gas, if it's going to 87, how quickly is the speed of the market feeling the pain of gas prices?
Well, the Straits of Hormuz are there, so every time there's a shortage, and a shortage creates prices to go up. Also, when demand goes up, and right now there's more demand for the U.S. oil because we're pumping and it's available. We've increased the output for Venezuela over the past 4 weeks, 2x from when we took out Maduro.
Yeah.
So 2x the oil is coming out of Venezuela. Remember, they would like sneak the oil out. It was like embargo oil. Now it's open oil. The pipes are open from the valley, and that's 2x. So we're pumping and we have it available, but there's demand for it because the Straits of Hormuz have closed. Take a look at that. That chart is the Iraq war. Take a look at that. See the first jump there? Is the Iran war. So click on, if you would.
Can we go 5 years?
5 days? Just 5 days. All you need to do it. Okay, there you go. The war starts.
It's 70
and Pat, take a look at that. It gently goes up.
Yeah.
And now look what happens on March 5th. The war escalates. See there? March 5th, the war escalates.
Yeah.
So it was hanging tough until the war started escalating, and now the Straits of Hormuz have been closed for a couple days, and that's putting pressure, on China. So this is demand related. The U.S. is fine. We have plenty. We're not going to have shortages at the pump, but the demand for what we're pumping is up. So guess what? The price goes up.
And Rob, do you mind going to 5 years or even go to max? Because Tom, correct me if I'm wrong. They want to keep the barrel of oil around $70. Is that
65
sort of
plus
65?
above 65?
Okay.
Yes, that's correct. 65 in the U.S., you make a profit, and you can afford to extract shale.
Okay, so if you look at this, and Pat, you're the numbers guy, it basically fell below market average in 2020. Nobody was moving, right? It went down to almost $20 a barrel. They couldn't even get it away. But historically, if you want to go back 10 years when Trump took office, oil was around $40. Is that right?
Yep.
Remember that,
2016,
and that was also the Saudi market manipulation trying to keep the price low to hurt Alberta oil sands and North Dakota shale, because those are alternative drills that were working.
And then, Tom, walk me through this. 2022, it spikes under Biden because we weren't pumping as much oil. How does this affect American oil?
What happened in the middle of 2022? We slowly opened after COVID, but what had Biden done trying to keep the price down? He emptied the SPR, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. And so suddenly the demand shoots way up. So that's Biden's, by the way, that's also Biden inflation, and just poor executive management from the Department of Energy. That didn't have to happen after COVID.
So, Tom, walk me through this. Even though there's been a major spike in the last 5 days with the Iran war, it pales in comparison to what happened a few years ago, right?
The spike is that little tiny thing at the end. You can put you see, since Trump was elected, what's been happening? A gentle slide back to, so he gets to go to November 24. There you go. Keep going. See? Yeah.
So the guy we should be asking is Vinny, who's got a massive truck.
Oh, let me explain something to you. People that are like, hey, come to Miami. I'm not coming to Miami. I'm not hanging out with you
What do you
at
mean
all.
people? You mean me?
I'm not.
By the way, just so you know, here's what you need to know.
This
Not
is well managed,
last
by the way.
Friday, but when did war start? It's been what now? Today's 6 days. Last Friday, it was around $67, $70 to now being at where it's at. So you're talking, $17 to $20 up, which is direct impact. People are feeling it. And how much of that's going to translate here? Trump's going to have to control this. But if Strait of Hormuz, if nothing's leaving there, and China's sitting around knowing 80% of their oil, they're relying there, Tom, how much longer can China sit around without coming out and saying, hey, we kind of need to protect ourselves with Iran because the oil we're relying on? How long can they go?
China's going to need oil in 21 days. I was reading that 21 days, they will start to feel it. It won't be catastrophic, but within 21 days, they're really going to start to feel it. So I'd like to know this. Iran is closing the Strait of Hormuz. If we control the skies, which we do,
I was just going to say.
and we have basically impacted a tremendous amount of their navy, what exactly is keeping the Strait of Hormuz? Because that's where China's going to get their oil. Or are we on the backside willing to say, okay, I'm sorry, the strait's closed, and because that's going to put pressure on China?
Yeah, if you look at this chart that Rob just pulled up, Iran and Venezuela's export most of their crude oil to China. Okay,
Right.
Share of Iran and Venezuela's crude oil export that go to China. Look at that. 87% of Iran and 55% of Venezuela.
Bingo.
And if you control both of them now, and China no longer has control of Panama Canal because of what happened with Panama.
C.K. Hutchinson.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
Panama's
C.K. Hutchinson.
Supreme Court.
Panama Supreme Court comes out and says, no, we're not doing it. Listen, you don't have any more authority over this. These two ports are ours. If you think these guys, when they say they're playing, chess and they're grandmasters, if you think that, you lock in Panama Canal first, so China can't play that as a weapon. You lock in Venezuela next. Then you go after Iran. Now China's sitting around saying, well, how can we create pain for U.S.? How can we create pain for U.S. to do anything? Strategically, it's actually very interesting when you think about the sequencing of what's been done.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming into summer. Maybe they could embargo the knockoff Callaway drivers.
Yeah.
Well,
That'd be catastrophic for guys like you.
Catastrophic. Get
Yeah.
it, Tom?
can I speculate on
Yeah,
something?
go for it.
So, oil. Trump's been saying he's going to do two things. You know, we talk about the 20-point plan that he was going to do.
Yep.
At the top of the list, he was going to shut down the oil, the border, and he's going to drill, baby, drill. Did he not say those two things?
Yes.
What if this were all a part of Trump's plan? Shut down the border, drill, baby, drill. Let's go through here. We just learned that China, which is our number one
Enemy.
combatant, you want to say that?
They're our enemy.
They
My
get
opinion.
what percentage of their oil from Venezuela and Iran? The vast majority of it. Drill, baby, drill. Taking down China. Now let's pan out a little bit. A year ago, when Syria was about to fall, Syria, Bashar al-Assad calls his boys, Vladimir, what's up, man? Niet, I can't help you. A buddy of mine did a great breakdown of this. Can't help him because he's embroiled in a war in Ukraine. Bingo. Hey, he calls up Iran. Iran can't do anything because they're fighting with Israel. So everything leads back to China. So Russia's embroiled in a war with Ukraine. We're funding that. Iran is tied up with Israel. Israel's knocking out all their proxies. Bing, 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 bing. Syria falls. Venezuela, when they fall, they say, hey, guys, who's going to come help us out here? Nobody. So now who's helping Iran? Is China showing up? No. Is Russia showing up? No. So could it be that Trump, when he said drill, baby, drill, this was all part of his plan to take out all these countries and basically say, China, what's up with the tariffs now, buddy? All your oil, all your power, all your energy. You have 1 billion people that you need to keep the lights on, and you're going to be major struggling when I take out all your allies. So could it be that Trump had this planned all along? Could be.
If it is.
Yeah.
If this is exactly how they thought about this, what a master
That's a
plan.
gangster move.
What a
It's almost
master
like he
plan
read your
if
next
they
5
did.
moves.
What did he call
written
it?
by
He
PBD.
said Marco Rubio will end up being the greatest
Secretary of State
of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Is what he said. So, Tom, what are we looking at here with the China imports?
Well, thank you, Rob. China imported 5 million barrels a day through the Strait of Hormuz last year. I don't know. Yeah.
And it tells you from where 1.2 from Iraq, 395 Kuwait, 106 Qatar, 666 UAE. They should have done 667. 703 Oman, 1.5 million Saudi, and 1.4 million Iran.
Yeah, and so never mind the numbers. Iran is only 1.4 that, but the highway's closed.
Exactly. Exactly. So, but do you not think, Tom, it's just so it's one of two things. Either if you're U.S., you know, you hear the stories of, Rob, do you have the clip of the Shahed drone? There's this one video that I saw. I'll send it to you.
I have it.
Which, do you have okay, play this clip about these Shahed drones, right? If you watch something like this, go ahead, Rob.
Did you know why the Shahed 136 drone is so deadly? It's just 11 feet long with an 8-foot wingspan, but it carries a 40-kilogram warhead and can fly over 1,800 kilometers to strike with deadly precision. The engine, loud and rough. It's not stealthy, you hear it coming. But can you stop it? It costs just $20,000, but taking it down can cost anywhere from $400,000 to $4 million. That's like trying to stop a bicycle with a Lamborghini. Did you know why the
pause it right there. So at the beginning, like right now, you know, you're looking at Russia and Ukraine. We were having this conversation somewhat last night, Tom, at dinner, is if they're using $20,000 drones, and to take them down, they have to use $400,000 to a few $1 million to take them down, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And if these guys continue to make these and they're accelerating, do you think Trump's team is realizing, like, whatever they do, this has to be like a Mike Tyson first-round knockout type of a fight, not something that can be dragged out to 8th, 9th round like a Buster Douglas, not saying that they're going to win the war, but to them winning the war is, if the IRGC is still in business 6 months from now, that to me is winning the war. No? If IRGC is still around, would you not say that they won?
They won. Yeah, of course.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
100%.
If they're still around and they're still running the show, that's not a good look. So for them, when you see this back and forth with the drones that they have, do you think U.S. has to do this very quickly? Because if they don't do it really quickly, China's going to get involved and do something. You don't have a long time. I think this is like you have to make sure you get
the
this done very
window.
quickly.
The window is very, very small. And the fact, Tom, you made a great point. I remember the video that we played on Monday of the Navy going, everybody, everybody get out. It's closed. First of all, We're dominating. We've sunk the majority of their naval fleet. Whoever that guy is, he's probably dead. Well, how long do you think Thomas?
Turned off radar and any aircraft.
Turned off radar and everything. And
so what's closing the Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah, who's running the
Drones?
show? Yeah, if we're bombing and we're doing it, I think, Pat, that's a great point. Get it over with. Destroy them all, because if we're going to win, we need to win fast. And then who's going to control the Strait of Hormuz?
Got it. 2 points here. So I was reading last night, they said, who really closed the Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah.
Lloyd's of London. Because Lloyd's panicked and said none of your insurance is good. So did Lloyd's of London effectively close the Strait of Hormuz? Because a lot of these boats aren't moving because they don't have insurance. They're not
did you hear
insured.
what Trump did?
But then
Trump came
said,
in and basically said, I'm going to insure everybody. Nothing. Lloyd's of London has been the greatest insurance marketplace for commercial insurance and all types of insurance
specialty underwriting
in the world. And did they not move out and basically reposition themselves out of this situation? And Trump shows up and goes, no, I'll insure you. It's kind of like how we talk about in California. There's all the insurance companies are leaving. All the insurance companies are leaving. And if Trump showed up and he's like, yeah, if you want to buy a house, I got you. I'll do the insurance. So essentially telling all the countries, keep doing business. Business will not stop. Is this his tweet? Effective immediately. I've ordered the United States Development and Finance Corporation to provide a very reasonable price, political risk, insurance, and guarantees for the financial security of all maritime trade, especially energy traveling through the Gulf, the Persian Gulf. This will be available to all shipping lines. If necessary, the United States Navy will begin escorting tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. Bingo. He said the free flow of energy to the world. The United States economic and military might is the greatest on earth.
It takes a minute to get that paper done, right? So you got to wait till you get the paper done. But to Pat's point, the other thing I read, I don't know if you have Jane's Military. There's a Jane's analyst that says, in modern warfare, the big power on a concentrated attack, you're dead and you're dead fast. But when wars get wider and longer, the big power has trouble with it. That's what happened to Russia in Ukraine. They suddenly were fighting on 4 or 5 different locations. Number one. Number two, if this goes wider, then it becomes more difficult. And the drones, this is why I think they're making announcements about laser weapons and everything, because they can't depend on Patriots. You know what the Patriot missile was? When we first heard about the Patriot missiles, when we heard about Iraqi with the Scuds, they had Scud missiles that were marginally accurate, but if they landed on you, they were big and they made tremendous damage, but they were conventional. And so Patriot missiles would shoot them down over some area before it reached a target. So the interceptors, this is exactly right. You have to shoot down, a bicycle with a Lamborghini. That's why the advanced weaponry is important, to go knock them down out of the sky first. But the wider and longer it gets, Pat, that favors the one you've attacked. And that's exactly what happened in Ukraine.
I want to show this interview of the foreign minister of Iran, okay? And I want you to judge him by his confidence and his poise, or the lack of. This was a great interview. I watched the whole thing. It's very well done by whoever the interviewer is from NBC. He did a great job. He's asking, what do you think about the potential of a ground invasion? And here's how he reacts. Go ahead.
Ruled out boots on the ground in Iran. Are you afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country?
No, we are waiting for them.
You are waiting for the U.S. military to invade, the ground troops?
Yes, because we are confident that we can confront them, and that would be a big disaster for them.
Okay.
So you're saying that Iran is ready and willing to take on the U.S. military if there were to be ground troops?
Well, we were ready for this war even more than the previous war. So you can see, the quality of our missiles, how much they are upgraded after the last war, because we learned lots of lessons. And we are prepared for any other eventuality, even, a ground invasion. So our soldiers are prepared for any scenario. When I said that we are waiting for them, it didn't mean that we are waiting for continuation of the war. No, but we have prepared ourselves to confront with any scenario, with any eventuality, any possibility, and we know that we can handle that.
President Trump has not ruled out.
Is that just acting tough? What do you think about when you hear that?
He looks somewhat confident. His blink rate doesn't go up. It doesn't appear that he's in a like a stressed physical posture. He either believes what he's saying and he's wrong, or he believes what he's saying and there's something there.
Adam.
That is the most delusional leader I've ever seen. So it's kind of like point at the scoreboard. You're winning 100-4, and the team with the 4 is like, we got them right where we want them. I'm telling you right now. Dude, they just decapitated your supreme leader and all your military generals. Everyone showed up to this meeting on Shabbat when Israel doesn't and America doesn't wage war, and they sat in a room like idiots, and they all got destroyed. The whole world is looking at Iran now, crumbling. The regime is falling, and they have the notion to be like, we got them right where we want them. You know what this reminds me of? You ever see these girls on like the Whatever podcast? Have you ever seen it? The girl's a disgusting, sloppy girl. And you go, rate yourself 1 through 10. She's like, I'm a 10, when she's clearly a 1. And it's so completely delusional. And everybody is going like, yeah, you're a 10. You got this, honey. When Iran is crumbling, their leader got killed. Meanwhile, who is this guy?
Foreign minister.
Some spokesperson, forest minister.
He's been around.
This is all part of our plan. We wanted our leader to get killed. This is all part of our plan. It's either lying or it's delusion or it's a little bit of both.
Is he on the list? Is this guy somebody that we would be wanting to target? Because if we want him, he's gone. So the fact that we've been letting him speak and he's still talking this nonsense, I think he has to do that. Because guess what? Number one, he's not going to go fight. But number two, has anybody here ever heard of how amazing the Iranian ground troop army? No, I haven't heard none of that. He has to do that. Imagine that guy panicking. Then what does the army do? Because the army is looking up to him, right? Because who else is? All the generals are dead. So I think he has to do it. But mind you, how petrified do you think that guy is? With United States, with Israel's backing over there, wherever he is, they know where he is. Any bunker, wherever he's at, they know. So if they want him gone, to me they're keeping him alive.
What's your opinion on a guy like this who's
Minister
clearly
of Foreign Affairs,
either lying or delusional?
So he's got a mistress in Egypt.
Well, to be in a position and have a job like this, you have to be delusional. Half your job is, Trump is sometimes delusional. When he's at the State of the Union giving a message and you're watching him saying, he just lost Supreme Court to tariffs, they're about to attack Iran, and he's talking to saying, it's the greatest economy, this is the greatest country ever. A little bit of you need that to make a position like this because you can handle the pressure. So that means he's got it. But by the way, what's crazy is any minute we can report that he got killed.
Yes.
You realize that? Any minute we can say he got killed, then who's the next guy? Who's the next guy that's going to come up and talk about this?
It's also the equivalent of Caroline Leavitt getting up there at the as the press secretary, and Trump was just murdered. Our entire cabinet is gone. We're losing the war. And she goes, America's greater than ever. So it's not even Trump saying this. I understand what you're saying exactly. The State of the Union. The State of the Union is, you're going to say the State of the Union is strong. This is the press secretary just lying to everybody, and everybody knows it. So it's a little bit different. I totally understand what you're saying.
If you read Art of War, what is the most basic rule of Art of War? Act small when you're big, act big when you're small. You have to kind of act like when you have nothing you have going on, you have to make them believe that you have a lot of stuff going on. So they're probably reading the third grade version of Art of War, and maybe they're kind of using that to be like, hey, maybe empezare son su. And
the enemy's making a mistake, get out of their way. If this were a poker game and he's bluffing, what hand does United States and Israel and our allies have?
Let me put it to you this way.
And what does Iran have?
Let me read you stats from Wall Street Journal.
Sure.
Iran missile launches are down 86%.
Weird.
Oh, so there's data.
Yeah, there's something called data, right? It's down 80. Rob, who is this?
This is Admiral, I believe his name is
Cooper?
Admiral Cooper.
4-star.
Brad Cooper.
Brad Cooper?
Bradley Cooper, respect to you. Great role.
This is where he gives an update on the amount of Iranian missiles that are being shot right now.
Okay, go for it.
Then if I just look back over the last 24 hours of the operation compared to where we were at start, ballistic missile attacks have decreased by 90% since day one. Drone attacks have decreased by 83% since day one. Having said this, we remain vigilant. Our strikes against the Iranian
drone
Navy
attacks were down what?
90 and 87%. President say just a little while ago that we have sunk or destroyed 24 ships. That was true at the moment. We're now up over 30 ships.
Ships
And in just the last few hours, we hit an Iranian drone carrier ship, roughly the size of a World War II aircraft carrier. And as we speak, it's on fire.
I mean,
It's just so you know what that is. By the way, have you seen the
Saying
pictures
it with
of those?
Such a straight
It looks
face.
like a
It could
beehive.
almost be a comedy skit.
Yeah. Yeah, Tom, go ahead.
No, what he's talking about here is these ships that they make to hold the drones. They look like beehives. And so we figured out where they were launching the drones from, and we hit the ship. So all the drones and stuff that were on the ship, and when they hit those, they burn, and then they suddenly go up because the munitions that are on there goes up. So it's basically we hit one of the beehives that's launching the drones, which is why the drones are down 83%.
And by the way, this is a periscope footage of U.S. Navy submarine torpedoing, which we haven't used in a while, an Iranian frigate Dana off the coast of Sri Lanka. This
Frigate.
is Rob. Look at that. That's an Iranian ship, and our sub is using a torpedo. We're going old school. Watch the right side. Bye.
Oh, my God.
Bye.
Yeah.
That's how we roll, homie.
Wow. And by the way, so on Fox yesterday, they were talking about, Rob, is this the clip about laser?
Yep.
Okay, go for it. Watch this, folks.
No, but you always want to keep that option open. And so far, that's not where this is going. As Trump would say, we've never seen anything like this. This is 2 times the firepower that we saw over Iraq and shock and awe. These are B-52s dropping 80,000-pound ordnance. We have artificial intelligence identifying targets. Space Force is seeing where these Iranian missiles launch from and then can take out the launch pad like that. We're shooting down Iranian drones with laser weapons. Also, kamikaze drones, we're using them for the first time ever in combat. So this is just an astonishing display of American military superiority. Probably officially marks the beginning of 21st century warfare. We have completely eradicated the 2 top layers of the Iranian leadership. The Navy's at the bottom of the sea, and their missiles were going from 80 a day to now 20 a day. The case is clear. Number 1 sponsor of terror in the world. They were ramping up their ballistic missile capabilities. They were digging deeper tunnels to enrich again. And their Navy threatens the flow of
Where's the
oil.
lasers?
So we don't care who rules
He had
the
just
country.
mentioned it in
They
the
just
past.
have to play
All right,
by
so
our rules.
Do you want to go to this? So let me just read this. Laser weapon deployed in Operation Epic Fury as Space Force stops Iran's missiles in their tracks. This is a New York Post story, okay? Iran's weapon debris blown to pieces or mechanically crippled keeps dropping from the Middle East sky. For that, we can thank heat-seeking satellites, military-grade malware, and radar jamming software, all made in America. New technology laser weaponry has been used against Iran as part of Operation Epic Fury. The U.S. Navy destroyer off the coast of Middle East nation is fitted with a new weapon, which appears to be high-energy laser with integrated optical dazzler and surveillance halo systems. The laser is a state-of-the-art device with steerable head, able to concentrate on intense, tightly focused beam of energy and takes out drone. The Space Force. Tom, what can you tell us about this?
So I'm wondering who leaked this story, and why are we talking about some of the most advanced stuff? Remember after when we went to get Maduro, and they said, "Oh, I was getting migraines and we were falling down." And remember what it was? No comment, no comment, no comment. And it's like, were we using energy? Were energy weapons or alternative weapons? We have no comment
I
about
think Caroline Levitt tweeted something about that, and it sounded a little bit like. Do you remember that? We were like, wait a minute,
mysterious.
this sounds too perfect. Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. So now we're coming out with a lot of detail about how it works, and what it does. So the answer is we have there are advanced weaponry that the average person, has not become aware of, and now is rolling into the lexicon of news coverage on international war. And these weapons are important because, remember, the analysis of the interceptors, how many interceptor missiles you have, is the assumption that you have to use a Patriot missile and an interceptor to get all of the incoming rockets. And Mark pointed it out on Business Wednesday very well with a chart. Well, that chart is true only if there's not alternative weapons that will also take these things down. And so what you're seeing here, I'm wondering if we aren't kind of talking to Russia and China here. is pointing out is like, you know what? If you want to send that crap over here and you want to help Iran through the back door, you know, we're going to take this stuff down. So think about this. And because I'll tell you, inside the Department of Defense, we would love China to expose new missile systems by giving them to Iran right now so that we can test against it. It may sound terrible because it puts life at risk, but there's a little part of the Department of Defense that always wants a live test against the enemy's best, or against enemy armaments. And so I think we might be talking to China and other people here and letting the world know what this is, and maybe letting the world know you're going to wait this thing out. I don't have to use Patriot missile intercepts. I've got other things I can use. I'm not going to run out of, I may run out of intercept missiles before you run out of missiles. I will not run out of intercept capability.
Adam.
I mean, let me just break this down very simply. It's not even a fair fight, okay? I mean, look at the cover of what's going on in the Wall Street Journal right now. They basically outline what Iran is doing. They're basically saying Tehran is fighting with jets that date back to the Vietnam War.
But they
held
look
together
cool.
with the scrounge parts of ingenuity, Iran's aging jets are failing in dogfights. And then it says, talking about the Israeli pilot flying one of the world's most advanced warplanes, made in the U.S., took aim and downed an Iranian jet easily, sending it streaking to the ground in a ball of fire. Target is down, completed. Iran is sending a creaking Air Force. Many of the planes are museum pieces kept flying with scrounge parts and pluck that stand little chance against modern warplanes. So what are we talking about here?
Hey, Ali, we have to remove that plane from the museum. Does it
Yes.
still work?
Yeah.
Bring it in.
No, we'll get some parts.
Break that wall. Let's go. We got to take that.
So they have
some
this
from the Straits of Hormuz.
1970s technology
Mesri, it's
with
a plane. You must fly
7th
it.
century ideology, bringing back the Vietnam War, where the United States and Israel and our allies have the most technologically up-to-date, incredible weaponry we've ever seen, not to mention a updated belief system not tied to an apocalyptic theocratic regime that's still citing 7th century beliefs. It's not even close. It'd be like, hey, in today's high school debate, we have the high school debate champion that has a full ride to Yale versus the high school dropout that just failed their GED. Let's see who wins this fight. It's not even close. The American military is the greatest thing this world has ever seen.
Vinny.
I have a question I want to ask you guys. Well, I thought initially the reason that we went in there was because of the people, because of the revolution that the people were doing, the quote unquote 40,000 people that were killed in the streets and all that stuff. But then it's more sounding like this is more about taking out their weapons and their systems and their missile launching. I really hope, are they? We don't know. We can only guess. The goal was for the people to be liberated from this regime, which I agree with 100%. The world's going to be a better place when the evil regime is gone. But I hope the people are getting together and trying to find out, because once the smoke clears from the lasers and the missiles and the bombs, they need to have a running government. They need to have, and I think Trump had said something about somebody coming in, because with all this craziness, with all the war, I hope they're not losing focus. It's the people. This I thought was because the people were dying and fighting in the streets. It's kind of seeming more like, yeah, I understand they're taking out the weapons and all their leadership, but I hope people are paying attention and focusing on the leadership, because once it's done, somebody has to set up. Adam, there has to be one guy, election, something has to happen. You know what I'm saying?
I think we've been talking about it. It's regime collapse.
Yeah.
It's not regime change anymore. It's regime collapse and eliminating, listen to what Rubio said, to eliminate their rockets and their ability to rebuild them.
Well, listen, I don't want to, some of you guys are worried, a lot of people are worried because this is actual footage of Iran's fighter just taking off to intercept Israel's F-355s. And it's a lot of people are worried about this. If you want to play this clip, go ahead,
Brace for
Rob.
impact here. They're coming down the street hard. This is Iranian jets,
Look in the sky right there. It's about to take off. That's the new jets.
Oh my gosh.
Bro, they lost. It's over.
Akbar!
It's over.
Unbelievable.
It's over.
Listen, I mean, look, we're being funny when I saw that clip somebody sent me.
Remember, they have no
But-
economy.
honest
You
with
break
that's
it, you
kind
buy
of
it.
what it's like.
Yeah. But it is
I
funny.
have to pay for this now.
It is funny.
They're horrible
Well, let me
at
ask,
defeating
let me ask
American.
Let me ask a weird question, Tom. Does this give Ukraine an opportunity right now to say, hey, or is Ukraine kind of on a pause with Russia? They're like waiting for Trump to see what he's going to be doing. Because, Russia would buy the Shaheeds back in 23, 24. They no longer do. They license them, and now they make their own drone identical to it. They call it the Geran or something like that. But they still need small little particles, small little pieces that they use from the Iranian drone. However, so it's $20,000 Shahed drones being sent to Ukraine. They had the $2,000-$3,000 interceptors that Ukraine produces. Is this opportunity for Ukraine, or is Zelensky kind of sitting there saying, listen, let's just wait for this to get done because I want to make sure me and Russia get things done as well, and we have some peace. How do you think Ukraine is reacting right now to this?
First of all, Zelensky's begging for some of the stuff that he sees in use, and he's not going to get it because this president's not going to give it to him. And I think, Ukraine's been oddly silent and not, I think, in a devious way. I just think they and Russia are in this stalemate. And Trump has been, come on, let's get a ceasefire already. And I think a week ago, didn't Zelensky say a week ago, if this, I'll do a ceasefire? But now you can't believe Zelensky because 2 drinks later, he changes his mind and it's still war. Mm-hmm. So there has been an opportunity for Ukraine to get a ceasefire and to stop this thing for 6 months. And it's been increasingly frustrating to D.C. because they've thought they've had it done a couple times, Pat. So is there an opportunity for Ukraine? Maybe, but I think there's an opportunity for Ukraine to get the ceasefire and knock it off. If you ask me, the first person to stand down gets a ceasefire. But Putin and Zelensky don't want to be the first person to stand down.
I think if this thing continues the way it is, if all of a sudden it continues, drags out, Putin and China have to get involved, don't they? If it drags
in Ukraine?
out. No. If what's going on with Iran, in the war, if it drags out.
Yeah, we don't want that.
I know we don't want that. But how long before you think you're going to see something of, report coming out that, China's doing this or Russia's getting involved with this? How long do you think they can tolerate this taking place?
What do you mean by get involved?
Meaning, say, hey, we're joining the war. We're going to help them. We're sending weapons. We're doing this. We're doing that.
Well,
they probably already are.
I'll give you my hypothesis. Russia has been exposed. They're still fighting the same small piece of the Donbass territory. How many years later now? 4 years later? They can't beat Ukraine, obviously, with our weaponry and technology and aid. And they have no interest, there's no appetite, in my opinion, in Russia to go fight a war on another front. In Iran? No. China and Iran, they're transactional. They're not real allies. China has come out and said that they think Islam is a mental sickness of some capacity, and they have over 1 million Uyghurs locked up in camps. So they're not natural allies. They're business associates, and they're there for the energy, and they're there for the energy alone. So China, they want global domination and global hegemony. If they're going to wage a war, you know where China's going to send their troops? It's one place. It's Taiwan. That's the only thing they're concerned about. The only reason they would get involved is for a lack of energy. That's how the Strait of Hormuz affects China way more than it affects America. We don't even get oil from there. So China is looking at this like, you're messing with our money, you're messing with our energy. We have some moves to make. There's obviously some tariffs conversation there. I could be dead wrong. I don't see Russia and China sending troops at all.
Adam, you're
maybe
right.
military
No.
aid, but zero troops.
No, because
So
the moment...
let's look at a piece of history. I'm sorry.
No, because the moment, Tom, and please say your point. The moment they send troops, that means you want to go to war, and then it's over, Adam. What if Russia sends troops to Iran to fight America? It's over. Then it's World War III. No, bro. And then China gets involved, and then it's no. That right there, it's over.
There's
They're
no
doing it
appetite in
subtly.
Russia for
So-
another war when
Oh,
you're
no,
basically
forget
at a
it.
stalemate.
It's been a
in
while, but we
five-year
need to
war
look
with
at history
Ukraine.
here. Let's look at history. The U.S. is going to win the Korean War. We are with South Korea, Seoul, pushing north. We're going to win the Korean War when this happened. China dropped 2.5 million troops into Korea. Most people don't know this. The reason the Korean War was a stalemate, because from 1950 to 53, China dropped 2.5 million troops into North Korea to help, and it caused it to be a stalemate across what is now the DMZ and the famous 38th parallel. It's been a while, but China has done it. This was the first time that we had been in active engagement with China. That war was going to be over.
Well,
and look what happened.
Rob, pull up a world map. And Tom, you're absolutely right.
I'm just saying it's happened before.
We're talking about North Korea, which is literally their next door neighbor. So it affects your house if you don't get involved. Go to North Korea and China. That's where it was going down. Now pan out, look where Iran is. All the way across Asia. They're not sending troops halfway around the world when they could have sent them across the street. So proximity matters in this case. You're absolutely right. We've had issues in the Korean War with China, no doubt. But wouldn't you agree that the landmass wouldn't produce this
it's
type
not a
of
land
results?
war. I'm looking at arms. I'm looking at air. I'm looking at do they get involved that way?
And Trump talked about, Rob, no plans of, feet on the ground, but troops on the ground. But he did say this is do you have that clip? Troops on the ground? I think he just said this yesterday. Which clip was that? That it was just yesterday, him talking about that's not the plans of what they're going to be doing. But to me, with China, if it drags out, your number one priority is your state, your country. You're getting 80% of your oil from Iran, from the Strait of Hormuz. And then you're getting 50-something% of it from Venezuela. And you don't have a way to retaliate. Either during this time, I'm trying to wonder, do you think, when you're doing a negotiation and there's stuff that's going on and you're doing this one deal and then you use this to negotiate this complete other deal with them? Do you think, what do you think is the likelihood Trump's team is right now talking to China about negotiating whatever they want?
I think so.
What do you think is the high likelihood?
High likelihood.
I think so as well. It's like, hey, listen, so what do you think? Can you imagine that call?
China is not happy with any of this.
I know they're
Rubio
not. So what I'm saying is, look,
missed that
we
play.
don't want to hurt you. We understand you need the oil, and we understand you can't get it from Venezuela and
We're
from
going to
Strait of
sell you the
Hormuz.
oil now.
We can sell it to you if you want, but here's what we need in return from you. You better not get involved with Iran. We will gladly sell you the oil, but if you get involved with Iran, it's going to be a massive problem. Stay the F out of this. Do you think if you were to say the likelihood of a call like this, 0 to 100, what do you put?
99?
Tom, where do you put it? Is it 99? Where do you put it?
I think there's a 95% chance.
Oh, so you're there.
Yeah.
No. No. I think
Wait, when you're that high?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I would see this if I'm in this position. I'm making that call. I'm making a call and I'm saying, look, guys, very basic rule. What do you want? Stay out of it. Hey, Russia, Ukraine, if this crisis is so loud that you use this 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, however long it's going to last, get all the massive negotiations done.
Good point.
So in an ideal situation, let's paint a picture if this could possibly happen.
Okay.
Regime change, regime collapse, okay? You go to regime change, that's what Carter did, okay, with Iran.
Horrible.
The regime collapse. Carter was a Democratic president. Going from Reza Pahlavi to Khomeini is not a regime change. That's a regime collapse.
Yes.
Iran was free next day,
Gone.
IRGC, gone, right? In 53, Mossadegh, when that happened in the mid-50s, that's a regime change. Mossadegh out, bring Reza Pahlavi in. Iran had a phenomenal relationship with Israel for 26 years, just so you know that. There was no issues with Israel for 26 years. Middle East was at peace. What they're working on right now is the collapse. But if you're in it and you're about to collapse and you call Zelensky, hey, you guys want to get this thing squared away or what? Hey, Putin, we hate the fact that this is going on. What do you want? What do you guys need? If all of a sudden, imagine we wake up in 6 weeks, and within 6 weeks, 8 weeks, deals have been done with China. deals have been done with Russia and Ukraine, and Iran has collapsed, and they're not controlling that oil as well. They're going in. I mean, you have to and by the way, the Gulf states have sided with U.S.
Of course.
Iran has attacked all of these Gulf states, and they're asking a question and saying, did you see in the foreign minister interview, Rob, if you can find this, what's the word they use? Casualties in war. There's a phrase they use that Israel also used with Palestine. They said, so he said, why are you attacking some of your allies? Why are you attacking some of these Gulf states? Why'd you attack Turkey? No, we never attacked Turkey. But why'd you hit some hotels? Why'd you hit some properties? You killed some innocent people. Well, listen, if Israel did that with Palestine, why can't we? We're going through it as well. So if all of a sudden you flipped, I'll find a clip and send it to you. It's from the same interview as yesterday, Rob. It's not that one. Whatever interview he did yesterday, he said that in that interview. First one to the NBC that says 600,000 views. Not that one. Go back. That one right there. If you can find it, he says it in there. You look for it and find it. We'll go to it. Is this
collateral damage?
Well,
but I'm just saying to you, if in this type of pressure you're negotiating these other deals, I would put my teams on to work and say, guys, double time, go. Wow. Let's do the deals.
I think you summed it up perfectly regarding China. Let me address Iran for a second. You want to hear a crazy stat? You ready? Iran has struck more Arab countries in 1 week than Israel has done in its entire existence of fighting wars in the Middle East. Iran has sent out more missiles, weapons, planes, drones, and attacked more Arab countries in 1 week than in the history of Israel fighting wars in the Middle East. Can I give you the list of countries that they've been allegedly attacked? So obviously United States bases, Israel. The UAE has received 800 projectiles since Iran. Qatar, who's middle of the road, is now basically siding with the U.S. We have a base there. Kuwait, Bahrain, they attacked residential buildings in Bahrain's capital. Oman, Saudi, U.S. bases in Saudi. Israeli officials believe Saudi may also take military action in response against Iran. Jordan, Lebanon, they're fighting Hezbollah over there. Iraq, Kurdish areas of the region. Cyprus, they attacked, that's a European country. Now there's rumors of Azerbaijan and possibly Turkey received a missile that was sent out of nowhere, not to mention the UK, France, and Germany. Iran is in its last legs, and they're just attacking everybody. Everybody. And meanwhile, everyone's looking back at me like, this is who these people are. No one's coming to Iran's defense. Nobody.
So Iran has now bombed more Arab countries than Israel. So Israel was in first place, now they're second place. Israel's going to be pissed.
Israel's going to be mad.
Rob, did you find it?
I believe so. This is where he's asked about attacking allies in the Middle East.
And then, okay, go for it.
In Israel, and so many targets belongs to the Americans. Their assets, their bases, their installations in the region, and they have not been able to prevent those attacks. Our missiles are still working.
Been asked yet,
missiles
or no?
are still
or is he about to ask the question?
Hitting
because he asked the question. Let the guy ask the question.
So Minister, can Iran win this war? If I can ask you, can Iran win this war, and what does winning look like for Iran?
No, this is not it, Rob. There's a part in it where he's asking casualties. He uses the phrase casualties. I don't know if you're able to search the words. You know how you typically do it on the right and you find it?
There's no transcript for this one, so it's not.
Oh, I got it. It's tougher to find it.
But all your base belong to us.
No, I actually want you to hear it. I don't want to summarize it. I want you to hear it from him because they've done a horrible job making friends. They've done a horrible job making friends because they're attacking their allies. They're attacking some of the guys that they're neutral with.
Well, not even.
Yeah, there it is, right
more
there.
Neutral than allies,
that's it. Let him ask the question, though, Rob.
Mistake.
Okay, he's going to ask, why are you attacking your neighbors?
Our neighbors. We have not attacked Muslim.
Go back. Let him ask the question, Rob.
They can go. They can be a winner at the end of the day.
Minister, explain to us and to the world, really. Iran has chosen to attack at least 10 other countries, many of them your Arab neighbors. None of them were involved in this war. Why are you attacking your Muslim neighbors during the holy month of Ramadan?
Oh, please don't mistake. We have not attacked our neighbors. We have not attacked Muslim countries. We have attacked Americans' targets and American bases, American installations, which are unfortunately located in the soils of our neighbors. So we have made it clear for them. I have been in touch with their foreign ministers, and I have explained that we are not targeting you. We have no problem with you. We are only targeting the American installations and American bases. And the reason is obvious.
But Minister, Iran is hitting civilian targets, striking hotels, high-rise apartments, airports in many of these countries. Those are not military targets.
Let me tell you why this answer is such a bad answer.
We have targeted very well the Americans are. Maybe there have been some collateral damages, as it is in every war.
Yep.
Look, more than 70,000 people were killed in Gaza by Israelis, and Israeli army called all of them collateral damage. So yes. There is the possibility of, collateral damages in this situation as well. This is what we have warned everybody in the region.
Collateral damage.
Guys, so counter the argument of Israel uses the phrase collateral damage of what happened in Palestine and Gaza, right? Let's put that and argue that. Yeah, that's right. Israel gets away with it. Why can't they get away with it? Fine. Let's isolate that argument over here. Go back to the Gulf states. Ask yourself how they take that answer. Does that answer tell you that they're doing such, accurate, surgical, precise attacks to areas that innocent people in these 10 countries that are Gulf states won't be affected by it? Or do you think those leaders of those countries listen to that and say, wait, you're that reckless? Mm-hmm. And we've been with you? Don't get it twisted. We're not waking up here every morning saying Israel's the greatest country in the world. The Gulf states are not sitting there saying, hey, it's awesome. You guys, you don't have no skeletons in your closet. God knows they do. A lot of them, Israel. But this isn't about Israel. This is about Iran and their relationship. So it's like, imagine, Vinny, me, you, and Adam have an issue, and you do something, and he said, well, what about when Adam did this? And I said, I don't care what Adam did to Tom.
It's about me.
I care about what you did to me and the way you handled that. You insulted me. Mm-hmm. I'm not okay with that. What was that all about?
Yeah.
I don't trust you now. Mm-hmm. So to me, I think this was a bad look for him. What's the chances those 10, countries paid attention to every word of this interview?
Absolutely.
Every single one of them.
Every single one of them. And how do you think they handled this answer here?
Oh, okay. You want to play that game,
no
buddy?
problem.
Okay.
You know what he just did? You know why this is so dumb? This is why they suck in diplomacy. Say what you say about, what do you call it? Israel,
Gaza.
These guys understand diplomacy. They understand, hey, listen, yes, we have to negotiate everything in Israel's favor, but we kind of need U.S. We kind of need this. They are very, what's the part?
Strategic?
Man, you can call it whatever you want to call it. Strategic. You can call it schmoozing. You can call it biz dev. You can call it. You can even call it a little bit like on the gray area of, not necessarily a positive word. You can call it a negative word that's only selfish interest for them. He lacks the basic understanding of diplomacy. Like, you have to realize when you're talking to NBC, the world is watching, and you kind of say, well, listen, that's collateral damage. I'm sorry you lost your cousin.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, UAE. I'm sorry, Dubai. I'm sorry. Hey, what do you want me to do? You understand what I'm saying to them, Tom? You look like you want to say something.
No, when you're done with that point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Collateral damage works when you have a hot conflict in Kiev. That's the point of conflict. And residences on the outside are tragically impacted. That's collateral damage. Collateral damage is adjacent to the point of hot conflict. Collateral damage is not when you're trying to make a point and destroy an interest. And what Iran was trying to do, Pat, is lob missiles over at U.S. bases to make a point for America. That's not the point of conflict. Collateral damage would be Iran coming across the border and impacting, rural civilians and those things. That's collateral damage. Collateral damage is not, I wanted to make a point. I sent a missile to hit America. My missile's guidance system was so terrible, and I hit the frickin' hotel. or the energy weapons misguided the drone. The drone hit a hotel. It's like, dude, that's not collateral damage. You're a fool. You're exactly right, Pat. This is horrible.
I think so. I think this is horrible.
I think it's I'm so glad that you.
By the way, the only way, I'm sorry, Adam, the only way I see this that you can speak like that is you know something the rest of the world doesn't know, like meaning China's about to send something to you to protect you. Someone made a call to say they have your back. And the likelihood of that happening to me, it's less than 5%. Honestly, it's maybe even less than 1%, but let's just say it's less than 5%. You talk like that when you need those guys. You have to use this interview in a way to reassure those guys that you are not the enemy. You know, he said in the continuation of the conversation, he says, we made those calls before attacking, and we told them, here's what we're going to be doing. We're hitting U.S. military bases or we're hitting U.S. military properties. But at the same time, they effectively hit other places. So he's saying, I called them. And one of the countries he was very afraid of was Turkey. You could tell the way he gave the respect to Turkey was different than the other countries.
We didn't launch anything there.
He did. He did say that. Adam.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just simplify this. There's a war going on. There's the good guys and the bad guys. U.S., Israel, and our allies are the good guys. Iran is the sole bad guy. There's nobody coming to their defense with the exception of their proxies like Hezbollah and the Houthis, and we know where Hamas is these days. Number two is Trump's in charge. If we've ever even thought about having the debate who the number one leader of the world is, it's Trump, and there's not even a close second. I'm sorry. But the silver lining here is now, with Iran being essentially decimated, and they will be, in a matter of weeks, maybe months, there will be a new era in the Middle East where countries will sign these accords and get along, and the thorn in everybody's side for the last 47 years will be removed. That's my opinion of what will happen in the Middle East. Notice this, last point. How many Middle Eastern countries at this point, heads of state, are criticizing Israel? None. Nobody's saying anything. The war in Gaza is done. All eyes are on Iran now. You know, they said all eyes on Rafah. Nobody cared about that. All eyes are on Iran right now, and Iran is being exposed. The last thing Iran regime needs right now is their name in the news. Remember when they said they were going to kill people, and then they said the way to save these people's lives is talk about Iran. They want to do this in the darkness. They want to turn off the internet. They want to murder and maim their own people when nobody's looking. Well, now everybody's looking at Iran right now, and they have no choice. So they're going to lie. They're going to be deceitful, but everyone knows what they're doing at this point.
Yeah, this is showing who they've attacked?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Qatar, Cyprus, Israel, Iraq, Jordan, Turkey, U.S. assets, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, Syria, Bahrain, Oman, Azerbaijan. Just making friends left and right.
And so you know what this means? They're all on the same team against Iran.
Can you imagine how double dumb that is?
Triple dumb.
You're in a fight and you can't make any allies, and they're siding. I asked this question. I said, what was the chances that you would have thought 2 weeks ago, a month ago, 3 months ago, something's going to happen with Iran, Israel's going to attack, and all the, states, what do you call it? The Gulf states are going to side with U.S. and Israel. What do you think is the chance of that happening? Oh, zero. Oh, no way. Well, they just did. Why? Why are they doing that? Why are they doing it? Why did MBS call Khamenei Hitler? Why? You don't think he knows him? You think he knows you know him better than they do? Why did they do that? And, there's a...
Do you have that clip?
Of course.
MBS, have you played that yet?
You've never seen this clip?
MBS?
MBS calls Khamenei Hitler. Have you ever seen this?
No.
You've never seen this?
He said that he called... Maybe this is not recently, is it?
Oh, this is not recently, but MBS is... Rob, I send this interview to you right there.
Yeah, right there.
We didn't play this clip?
We played it on Wednesdays.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Go ahead and play this clip. Watch this. Go ahead. Go back. Watch this.
Seen that you called the Ayatollah Khamenei the new Hitler of the Middle East.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Because he wants to expand. He wants to create his own project in the Middle East, very much like Hitler, who wanted to expand at the time. Many countries around the world and in Europe did not realize how dangerous Hitler was until what happened happened. I don't want to see the same events happening in the Middle East.
Does Saudi Arabia need nuclear weapons to counter Iran?
Saudi Arabia does not want to acquire any nuclear bomb. But without a doubt, if Iran developed a nuclear bomb, we will follow suit as soon as possible.
Wow.
You've never seen that?
Maybe the most important conversation regarding the Middle East.
Of course.
Wow.
Of course. That shuts down so many of the conversations.
Calls
And
the
they all need the
Ayatollah
West.
the new Hitler.
Once upon a time,
and
these
says
guys...
we do not need a nuclear weapon as long as Iran doesn't have one.
Right.
There you go, guys. I mean...
Remember, once upon a time, the Arab embargo crippled the United States and created gas lines and all these things under Carter. Now, all these years later, we're a net energy exporter. Drill, baby, drill. And they'll say, we'll cut off your supply of oil. What are you talking about? I supply 60% of the natural gas to Europe. I'm an exporter now. I'm a net exporter. And so what are you talking about? So these guys need the West economically, and Saudi and friends do not want to be drawn into this. They want this over. They want to go back to selling to China and doing all the things they do. And
can you do me a favor, Rob? A lot of people are saying that was AI. Can you go to ChatGPT and verify if that was AI? Ask the question, has MBS ever called Khamenei the supreme leader of Iran Hitler? Because people are saying that's AI. Maybe it is AI. If it is, we'll correct it. I apologize right now, immediately, myself. Oh, it's not AI. Okay.
Oh, weird. 2017.
2017, 9 years ago, in a New York Times interview,
AI.
Iran's supreme leader is a new Hitler of the Middle East.
And he repeated in the video that you just showed.
8 years ago, he said the same thing. So to the people that are like, there is no way he would say this about Khamenei, he just did. Do you know him better than MBS does?
Wow.
Let me tell you, this is the product. Call with a guy yesterday. I don't want to mention the names at all. On the call I had with a guy, actually, it was a good conversation. I said, listen, I lived with these people. They don't think like you think. They don't like what you stand for. They hate what you stand for. My every day, if I'm thinking about this thing, the only thing I ask is for this thing to be done quickly. Quickly. I don't want it to drag out. If you're praying this week, if you're praying today, if you're going to church, if you're doing whatever you're doing, the main thing is for this thing to be done quickly. And it looks like that's what they're solving for. You ever seen what Marco Rubio said in 2015? And he says, I want this thing to be recorded.
Yes.
Because I want it to be on the record that I said this 11 years ago. Play this clip, Rob. This is Marco Rubio. So it's not like Marco Rubio just all of a sudden became like this last week because somebody made him think this way. Go ahead, Rob.
Be recorded for history's purposes before I know what was going to happen in regards to this if it goes through. Iran will immediately use the money that it's receiving in sanctions relief to begin to build up its conventional capabilities. It will establish the most dominant military power in the region outside of the United States, and it will raise the price of us operating in the region. They're going to build anti-access capabilities, rockets capable of destroying our aircraft carriers and ships. Continue to build these swift boats that are able to come on us, these fast boats that are able to swarm our naval assets. And they'll make it harder and harder for U.S. troops to be in the region. They'll also work with other terrorist groups in the region to target American servicemen and women. And they may or may not deny that they're involved, but they will target us and raise the price of our presence in the Middle East until they hope to completely pull us out of that region. They'll also continue to build long-range missiles, missiles capable of reaching the United States. Those are not affected by this deal. And they'll continue to build them as they've been doing. And then at some point in the near future, when the time is right, they will build a nuclear weapon. And they will do so because at that point they will know that they have become immune, that we will no longer be able to strike their nuclear program because the price of doing so will be too high. Iran is led by a supreme leader who is a radical Shia cleric with an apocalyptic vision of the future. He is not a traditional geopolitical actor who makes decisions on the basis of borders or simply history, or because of ambitions. He has an religious apocalyptic vision of the future, one that calls for triggering a conflict between the non-Muslim world and the Muslim world, one that he feels especially obligated to trigger. And he's going to possess nuclear weapons. This is the world that we are on the verge of leaving our children to inherit, and perhaps we ourselves will have to share in it. And so I want to be recorded for history's purposes, if nothing else, to say that those of us who opposed this deal understood where it would lead. And we are making a terrible mistake. But here's the good news. Iran may have a supreme leader, but America does not. In this nation, we have a republic. And soon we will have new leaders, perhaps in this chamber, but also in the executive branch. And I pray that on their first day in office, they will reverse this deal and reimpose the sanctions and back them up with a credible threat of military force, or history will condemn us for not doing what needed to be done at this critical moment in the world's history.
Wow.
I do want to be.
That was presidential.
You are looking at the 2028 Republican presidential candidate, to me, in my opinion. This is the guy. He has come up so much, it's not even funny.
I just trust this guy.
2015, by the way. That's 11 years ago. He was saying that. He's not reading anything. He just spitting facts. Pat, do you mind just really quick? He's talking about the Khomeini from what 2015 was the same guy that's in right now. I know you mentioned this about because there was the first one.
The old one is Khomeini.
The old one.
The new one is Khamenei.
Okay, so the Khomeini.
Kho-Kha.
So the old one's Kho.
Old O.
Old.
Old O. New A.
So Khomeini. I sent this to Rob. He wrote a manual of Islamic law. It's, I believe, what, 661 pages, Pat? It's called the Tahrir al-Wasila. On page 229, Rob has the whole thing, volume 3. He says, look at on problem 12.
Number 11.
Intercourse with a woman is not allowed unless she attains the age of 9 years, regardless whether the marriage is permanent or temporary. There is, however, no objection in other sexual enjoyments like touching. Tom, say the word.
Lasciviously.
Good job,
Lewd
Tom.
and lascivious conduct.
Hugging and rubbing the thighs, even with a suckling infant. Do you understand what that means? Like, you could only marry them when they're 9, but if they're a suckling infant, you could touch them, hug them, rub the thighs, and even if they're that age. So just for all the people out there, that are like, oh, these guys he was cool. He's taking the freaking direction of Muhammad,
Well, why
the
don't
prophet.
you read the next sentence? If a person has had intercourse with a girl before she has attained the age of 9 years, but it has not resulted in, I don't know what that word is, ifta, he shall not be subjected to any punishment except that he shall be considered to have committed a sin. This is their ideology.
The ideology, but besides the kill everybody, this is how by the way, he wrote this by himself, 661 pages. You have no idea what other stuff is in there about people like us, especially
the next
Christians.
sentence is horrifying,
Go
right?
ahead.
It's medical. Except if his intercourse resulted in something so that the urinal, menstrual, or the menstrual and fecal passages, that's the rectum, have become one. In other words, she's been torn open.
Yes.
It shall be so in the latter case.
No,
Guys,
she shall
what's
be
wrong with
rendered
this?
perpetually prohibited to him, though according to more cautious opinion. It shall be so in the latter case. In any case, according to the stronger opinion, she shall not cease to be his wife.
By the way, this is in chat. I took this right. Rob, can you show the PDF so people could see it? Just really quick, if you guys want to see the PDF, that's it. That's what he wrote. Start scrolling down, Rob.
This is the original.
That's him. That's him. And it was translated
Khomeini.
Yep. Just letting you know who you're dealing
Can
with.
you show the picture of him, Rob? The original one?
The OG, the one that they did in
Well, they announced that his son may become one, and Trump called him weak. He said he's too weak.
Yeah.
And do you have the clip of Trump?
So who wrote this?
Did you hear what's going on with him, by the way?
What?
So can I read an announcement? So the new Ayatollah, Khamenei, not Khomeini, the new supreme leader after Khamenei, his son, was treated for impotency in the UK. You know, the lineage, trying to have kids. So he said he went to the private United Kingdom hospitals. He went to the U.S. Embassy in 2008, went to London's Wellington and Cromwell hospitals for impotency issues, had 3 extended visits to the UK, but needed a 4th visit for medical treatment. After a stay of 2 months, his wife finally became pregnant. Back in Iran, a healthy boy was born, named Ali for his paternal grandfather. So let me get this straight. Impotency aside, correct me if I'm wrong, the original Khomeini sought refuge in where? France?
Correct.
So the French protected the original supreme leader, and now the new supreme leader, the son of the fallen supreme leader, sought medical treatment in the UK.
Yep.
Of all places.
Are you surprised?
France and the UK are basically helping the enemy succeed and give life, Walk me through this, Europe. We talk about the invasion that's going on in Europe. You're literally enabling these people to terrorize the world.
Which, by the way, to say where this came from WikiLeaks. This story came from
Julian
WikiLeaks
Assange.
in 2008. U.S. diplomatic cables from 2008 later released by WikiLeaks. That's where this story's coming from. So, but anyways, I mean,
Why are these Middle Eastern autocrats, theocrats, going to Europe for safe passage and for medical treatment? Walk me through that.
Well, I mean, that goes to Spain taking a position saying the Spain prime minister hits back at Trump threat to cut trade over airbase dispute. And Spain categorically denies White House claim it will cooperate on an Iran war. They're just not playing ball with U.S. at all. Rob, which of the clips do you have?
Just complete Marxists.
So I have the Prime Minister of Spain, and I also have President Trump.
Go
I have
for it.
Caroline Levitt and her reports that Spain was working with the U.S., and then I also have a Spanish diplomat saying that that's not true.
Go ahead.
23 years ago, another U.S. administration dragged us into a war in the Middle East. A war that, in theory, was said at the time to be waged to eliminate Saddam Hussein's weapons of mass destruction, bring democracy, and ensure global security. But in reality, looking back in hindsight...
What happened, Rob?
Oh, that's the end of the clip. And then here's President Trump talking about Spain.
Some of the European, like Spain, has been terrible. In fact, I told Scott to cut off all dealings with Spain. Spain, first of all.
He said he's going to cut off everything with them. So this kind of goes to not necessarily, what's Caroline saying, Rob?
This is Caroline Levitt, where she says that Spain has agreed to cooperate with the U.S. military.
And they're fully
with respect
denying
to Spain, I think they heard the president's message yesterday loud and clear. And it's my understanding over the past several hours they've agreed to cooperate with the U.S. military. And so I know that the U.S. military is coordinating with their counterparts in Spain. But the president expects all of our European allies, of course, to cooperate in this long sought after mission, not just for the United States, but also for Europe.
But why? Well, Adam, to go to your point, are you surprised that UK is accepting any Muslim? They're not. They refuse to go after the Pakistani Muslim rape gangs. His name, by the way, the son is Mojtaba Khomeini, son of Iran's supreme leader. He's reportedly to own luxury homes in Britain's worth $100 million, and he's said to hold 11 properties on the Bishops Avenue in Hampstead, North London. It's called Billionaires Row. Of course they're going to do that. Of course they are. And how can you be cool? How can we be cool with people that do that? That's the son. The apple doesn't fall that far from the tree. He's supposedly supposed to be next in line.
So the Ayatollah's son, who's the new Ayatollah, you're telling
balling
me
in
has
England,
a
balling in
$100 million compound in what city?
He has luxury homes combined $100 million. Hampstead,
in where?
North London.
In the UK.
Yep.
So we wanna go to ground zero of why this is happening in London, in the UK, in Manchester. This is what's happening?
Yep.
You're just letting the Ayatollah just spend their money and buy property in your country?
Rob, who
I don't
is
get
that?
it.
Is that him saying that the story's not true?
Yes, this is Spain's foreign minister that denies Caroline
Let me see
Levitt's
this.
comment.
A spokesperson from the White House has officially announced today that the government of Spain has agreed to extensive cooperation with the United States military. Is this true?
I categorically deny it. On my way here, I received those statements and I had time to see and listen to them a bit. I categorically deny it. The position of the government of Spain regarding the war in the Middle East and the bombings in Iran regarding the use of our bases has not changed one bit. Therefore, I categorically deny it, and honestly, I have no idea what this could be referring to or where it could be coming from. In any case, I want to make one thing clear to all Spaniards, both men and women. The position of the government of Spain regarding the use of the bases, the war in the Middle East and the bombings in Iran has not changed at all.
Minister, but it's the White House spokesperson, and she has been very explicit. Listen, please.
With respect to Spain, I think they heard the president's message yesterday. With respect to Spain, I believe they heard the president.
You can pause it right there. So, Tom, how do you process this?
Well, one of two things. Spain is trying to keep somebody happy, and they're letting us do it, but they're out there denying it, trying to keep somebody else happy.
Who?
I don't know.
Who?
But
actually, think about it. Who would Spain want to keep happy?
I don't know if they're trying
was
to keep
it
happy.
Spain that allowed just recently the influx of a ton of immigrants that came over there?
Yep, they did.
Well, by the way, there is precedent here. You know, Operation El Dorado Canyon, which was, remember when Muammar Gaddafi stood up, took credit for the bombing of Pan Am flight in Lockerbie, Scotland, and also was implicated in the discotheque bombing that killed the American servicemen. Operation El Dorado Canyon was called by Reagan. He flew F-111 Aardvarks, which is an amazing Air Force aircraft at the time, incredibly fast on the deck down below 10,000 feet. And when it drops its payload, it can avoid fighters. So these are very sophisticated, great aircraft. He sent 20 of them or so from the UK all the way down. But France said, you won't fly over our airspace. And the rumor has it that that is why a stray armament hit the French embassy in Tripoli way over there when we were there to put some holes in the airstrip so that Gaddafi couldn't launch against us. And then we bombed his compound. That's what happened. So there's the long been conspiracy thing that the U.S. sent a message to France, you know, the old caller ID. Hey, Vinny, I got a caller ID from Langley. Said, tonight's a good night to see a movie. Yeah. And so the embassy supposedly got tipped and had limited to no people present, but it got hit by an American bomb because the French wouldn't let us use their airspace.
I'll take a stab at this and I'll be quick. Why is Spain defending Iran? Is because they're communist in Spain, straight up, and Iran is Islamist, and this isn't anything new. You know, there was an article that came out a few years ago. They said, strange bedfellows, the progressive left and the Islamic right. It's because you would know this, PBD. When the revolution happened, there was something called the Red-Green Alliance. The communists get into bed with the Islamists, which is the horseshoe theory. The far left and the far right are closer than the center, the moderates. So the useful idiots will help the Islamists basically take over the world. And then what did the Islamists do when they helped the communists helped them take over Iran? What did they do? They killed all the college kids, all the progressives. So all the college kids, you know, if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. All the college kids are doing the encampments. It's the same thing that's already happened. It starts on the college campuses, like useful idiots. They're wearing the keffiyehs. They're advocating for Sharia law. And then when Sharia law happens, who are the first people that die? The Gays for Gaza crew. It's already happened. So Spain is communist. Iran is Islamist. And they have a weird alliance. And what is their center foundation? They want to bring down America and the West. By the way, there's a clip of what's going on in the UK, if you want to show that, talking about the Ayatollah hiding out and seeking refuge and getting medical treatment there. Rob, I thumbed up in the chat
It's the one I sent you 2 days ago.
Unbelievable. Do you have that, Rob?
Looking for it.
It's in the text.
Rob, I already sent it. Just look in the...
I do have a couple other things I want to get to. I mean, she just lights up.
Text chat, Rob, the PBD podcast.
I'm in it right now. Where at?
You're on Patrick's thing, not PBD.
Okay. Thank you.
That
right
one.
there.
You were saying?
This one.
You saying you have a couple?
Horrifies me to read that. And Jake is right. Our amazing armed forces deserve all the credibility. They deserve good resources. They deserve to have our full support. They deserve to be protected, for crying out loud. We were exposed out there. We knew that there was going to be war in that region, and we have left them undefended. And now France and Greece are having to run to our rescue. Do you know what? I've got a message, not just for this Prime Minister, but all of you, for the past 20 years. You have been self-indulgent. You've been naive. Your policy principles have had totally the wrong priorities. It's been about keeping your seats, gaining your seats, pandering to communities who will never vote for you, who do not have our interests at heart. You didn't stop those pro-Palestine marches. You didn't prescribe the Muslim Brotherhood. You didn't prescribe the IRGC. You were weak in support of Israel. You have sabotaged our self-sufficiency when it comes to energy production, concreting those oil wells, banning exploratory drilling in the North Sea. What on earth do you think you're doing? You're domestic terrorists. You're sabotaging this nation. You're compromising food security by attacking the farmers. Well, guess what? When international maritime shipping routes close down, food can no longer reach our island. everything that this government and, quite frankly, previous governments have been doing for far too long now has been pathetic. It's been weak-willed. It has had its eye off the ball. It has been narcissistic. It's been about looking good in public, and at the same time, you have put Britain in a desperately precarious situation. You've flooded this land with foreign enemies. You have not secured our borders because of a pandering to out-of-date, not fit for purpose international law and treaties that belong in the dustbin of history, that defend our enemies and straitjacket our ability.
Can we find out if she's in jail because she said anything about Muslims?
Yeah.
She's probably going to be in jail.
By the way, you want to know what's crazy about her?
I found out she's single.
It's not even her show. She was a sit-in.
Oh, wow. Gangster.
She was a sit-in.
You think they're
This
gonna
is
bring her
like
back?
Wally Pipp was sick. Lou Gehrig takes over. Hey, hire her. She stays for 2,100 days straight.
She's incredible.
She was
But
incredible.
was she
yes.
wrong?
No, she's not
Absolutely
wrong.
not.
She said the right thing. But let me go to a couple stories with Iran. So the question then becomes replacement. Okay, the question then becomes replacement. Spain plans to give 500,000 undocumented migrant legal status.
Bingo.
This is just a month ago.
This is. Can you go to the picture of Spain? So they're wearing the keffiyehs in Spain. I mean, I think we should just take that woman's clip and just show it for every country in Europe. Every single country that is allowing this mass migration from the third world.
That's New Spain.
That does not
And I
share
don't
their
wanna cooperate,
ideology.
and I don't want to help.
It's the strange
No
death
problem.
of Europe.
So now you know who they are. So let them do what they're doing. You know the conversation I was having with this fellow
You're gonna
yesterday.
bomb your tacos.
I said, look, why is it that the safest, lowest unemployment, best place in Europe to be Poland? Why? They don't allow a single person in. Stats are the stats. They have the lowest crime rate, lowest unemployment. They love living there. It's a Christian state. They don't take a single immigrant that's coming in. Everybody else is taking them. It's a tough argument to debate, but let me go to this one here. Go to what happened yesterday. Apparently, Reza Pahlavi's team didn't filter this podcast that had him on. I'm only showing this for one reason. So he is played a very important role in Iran with, helping out. And he gets on this podcast, and his team is getting him on this interview to be done. He doesn't know these are two pranksters from Russia, and the guy introduces himself as Adolf. Rob, I don't know if you have the whole interview.
I do.
You have this?
Yep.
Go ahead. Play it from the beginning so we can just kind of see this and then go to it. Go ahead.
That's great. And Reza Pahlavi is coming as well. I was just making sure the line was open.
They're in Germany, I believe, while this is happening.
He's just finishing another meeting.
This guy sounds British, right?
Oh.
So, how does your team not filter this out?
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, dear Prince Pahlavi. So we're waiting for Adolf.
No problem, we'll wait.
Okay. How do you like Munich?
It's cold and rainy, so I can't say it's the best of times.
Yes.
Yes. Now, this is my, I think, fourth time in Munich in the last year.
Oh, Adolf is here. Okay.
Adolf is here.
Good.
Nice to meet you. Nice to see you.
These are comedians.
Yeah.
This is a prank.
I need to tell you that
You've
my
never seen
father knew your father.
How come?
Really? Yes.
What was that? Was it, he has
Grandfather, Adolf's grandfather.
Yes. My grandfather knew your father.
How interesting. Was he stationed in Iran in some capacity?
Yes,
or?
he was.
Did you hear what he just said?
He
My
served
grandfather.
in German army. And
You understand
he
what
was
he's saying?
agent in Tehran.
Anyways, this
In
continues.
He's trolling
and-
him.
That's very interesting.
Let me tell you,
Good to know.
it continues, and then by the 7th minute mark or whatever, they
How long was
figure
he on?
out how long is the interview, right? About 6.
Right now, it's 6 minutes, 46 seconds long.
And then they realize, and they said he's got to go, and they start celebrating like we got him. I can't believe he fell for it.
Pat,
Okay.
who do you put this on, him or his team?
I put 90% on his team. I put 10% on him, and I'll
Yeah,
tell
I
you
agree.
why. 90% on his team because the team has to filter out anybody that wants to have you on the show. Remember, Trump got fooled one time with Sacha Baron Cohen.
with Borat,
And
yeah.
he says, I'm thinking about creating this business where the ice cream doesn't melt.
Yeah.
Well, it was Ali G.
Ali G, yeah, he says, Booyakasha.
What you think about that?
Within 2 minutes, Trump is like,
I'm
no,
outta
I'm out of here. I got to go. So, by the way, It happens to everybody, just so you know. It's not like
Hillary was on, but between two plants.
No, but that was Zach Galifianakis. She knew what she was doing with that. She thought that was a good idea. But if you look at this one here, fast forward at the end when Trump is realizing this is a game, and he goes to it, and look how it finishes it. Go to the last 10 seconds right there, Rob.
I hope you make a lot of money. Good luck, folks. It's been nice seeing you. You take care of yourself, okay?
Is he going to be in on that?
Well, it sounds like an interesting...
We've got like P. Diddy is going to be in it.
Good.
How funny was that? I mean, that was 20 years ago.
So he got it, and he kind of walked out. But so to me, I put 90% on the team, 10% on him. And by the way, the moment that he says, my name is Adolf, you got that mustache, and you got...
a German accent.
6 months, 6 minutes, because they're all watching.
Yeah.
How do you not... And I get what you're saying.
Alarm bell should go off immediately. Maybe
How many
20
Adolf?
seconds.
I don't know if there's any Adolf.
Hello, and welcome to the Adolf show with a little mustache.
When he says,
within
my
10 seconds.
grandfather, my father knew your father.
Bro.
At that point, you have to know where this is going. But I'm going to tell you, this is going to be no news. It's going to go by within 24 hours if it hasn't already moved on, and people are going to move on.
Because it was via Zoom.
No, it doesn't matter what it is.
If this were in real life and you don't see that,
Oh, no,
because you could say, oh, the lighting, this and that. He has at least an excuse.
Yeah.
A little bit more.
Team, 90% team.
I agree.
Filter better. Filter better. Filter better. I think he's about to go on All In podcast here soon, and he's going to be doing a lot more of these. His team needs to filter these things out better. Generally, don't do an interview with a guy named Adolf from Germany. It's a bad idea. I would just say, like, if in the future a host name is Adolf from Germany, I wouldn't do that podcast.
That's one of your top 7 rules for filtering.
Yeah, like we do a podcast course, and I teach people the top 20 rules.
Yeah.
I think it's like rule number 2 or 3,
Exactly.
right? Never do a podcast with a guy named Adolf from Germany.
And despite
especially with
popular
the
opinion,
mustache.
Hitler wasn't a cool guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah. Yeah, we've kind of heard that all over the place. All right, okay, so let's go to the next story. Kristi Noem. Vinny, what happened there? Okay, Trump fires, this is AP, Homeland Security Secretary Noem after mounting criticism over her leadership. Rob, is this a clip or is this...
Yes.
Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, just speaking with some folks who have a lot of knowledge of this situation, I'm told the president spoke with Kristi Noem just before that Truth Social post went out, which means that when she was on camera giving her remarks and didn't actually touch on what had just happened, she was aware of what was happening. Mm-hmm. I'm further told that Corey Lewandowski is expected to leave with her. Of course, the rumors of an affair between the two were one of the factors that I'm told compelled the president to remove her as DHS Secretary. Both of them are married, and she had faced questions about her alleged affair during testimony on the Hill this week. Under oath, she did not deny it. She called the reports garbage, but she never denied sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski. And I'm told that he's expected to leave his post as a special government employee and advisor to her when she departs the Department of Homeland Security.
Pause it right there. And the replacement's going to be who? It's going to be
Mark Wayne Mullen.
Which he's a tough guy, right? I mean, there's a lot of clips. You want to play a couple of the clips? Maybe play one of the clips that he just. Well, we played the clip that he had with Bernie Sanders last week. This is him and who? Sean O'Brien.
Yes.
Go ahead.
His reputation
himself, his behavior, as everybody knows, and it's here. And the last time, him and I kind of had a back and forth. Appreciate your demeanor today. It's quite different. But after you left here, you got pretty excited about the keyboard. In fact, you tweeted at me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And let me read what the last one said. It said, greedy CEO who pretends like he's self-made. Sir, I wish he was in the truck with me when I was building my plumbing company. Myself and my wife was running the office because I sure remember working pretty hard and long hours. Pretends like he's self-made. What a clown. Fraud. Always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be 2 consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
Oh, stop it.
Is that your solution every poll?
No, sit down. Sit down. Okay, you know, you're a United States
actor, so he got the position over Kristi, and she got a different job. Rob, I don't know what the job is. Envoy. What's the job for? I am pleased to announce that highly respected United States Senator, Greater Oklahoma, Markwayne Mullin will become U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security effective March 31st, 2026. The current Secretary, Kristi Noem, who served us well and has had numerous and spectacular results, especially on the border, will be moving to the Special Envoy for the Shield of the Americas, our new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere. We are announcing on Saturday in Doral, Florida. I thank Kristi for her service at Homeland. Okay? Vinny, thoughts?
I mean, what is this the second firing of somebody higher up? I know Markwayne Mullin, but I believe he's the guy that was talking about and basically saying it was okay that Michael Byrd shot and killed Ashley Babbitt on January 6th as if she deserved it. If that's the same guy, he is tough, and yeah, he's a tough guy. I'm not a fan when he said something like that. But in regard to her, Pat, there was a New York Times story that said Homeland Security, Kristi Noem told Congress that Donald Trump personally approved $220 million DHS advertising campaign that prominently featured her in the border security and immigration ads, which that's with all the stuff that's happening, with all the people that are struggling, with all the affordability and all that, you're spending that much stuff to promote what? To promote you, and
not all the money was spent on her.
Not all the money was spent.
About, portions going to be spent on. She is the face.
She is the face.
So they're probably going to use that.
Yes.
In the clips, but I don't know if all that money was spent on her.
Probably not. Yeah, not at her. At the hearing, Trump denied authorizing the campaign and removed and that's one of the reasons. But the fact that the Corey Lewandowski thing, everybody, like those rumors, everybody talks about them. Everybody knows about it. She's married and he's married, and this is just. And I know we're going to get into the story later about what Washington is and what these people are all about. I think it's disgusting. And the fact that they let it go on this long and you put her in front of her performance, if that's what you want to call it, was abysmal. Tom, did you see?
I want you to add something. I'm not going to add. I'll let you add it. So they ask her that question about having an affair, about all that. Yeah. And then what do? A day and a half later, what do they vote not to release?
They vote 357 members of the House voted against Nancy Mace's bill that would have released all the sexual harassment and sexual misconduct reports of members of Congress.
And the settlements that were paid with taxpayer dollars.
Taxpayer dollars.
Here's 10 grand, sign a non-disclosure, leave, and all this. You know what? If we have to remove people for drinking and affairs, we don't have a working government.
Yep. You're right. Absolutely right, Tom. And that's why.
So it's just hypocrisy. It's the game of gotcha, and it's just hypocrisy. Yeah. And by the way, it's a rumor. They're alleging this against Secretary Noem, now leading America's Shield, and Corey Lewandowski, who's apparently going to be leaving according to certain reports. You know what? Those are allegations. Nobody knows. What's the real thing? The real thing is, how did she do her job? What's happened to the border? And where's she going now?
Yeah.
Right? And if you're going to put this standard up, like I said, we don't have a working government.
Yeah, because don't get me wrong, Pat. The border closed. If she's she's not the border czar, but she's in charge of. Compare her to Alejandro Mayorkas, night and day.
What does she do though? If you think about her job, guys, she shut down the border.
I love it. I'm saying, I'm giving her
job.
As the job, check. I absolutely love. I love the job. Check. I'm not going to lie, though. There's a clip that I sent Rob about I don't like this shift now because of all the backlash, which was all, orchestrated to make them look like they were, Gestapo and stuff. Trump came out, Rob. I slacked you the clip. This is Trump. This is Trump now saying, Pat, that the illegals, it's like, it's okay if they work hard and they were here. And mind you, let me say this. I think that there needs to be a process put in that if you have been here for 5 or 10 years and you haven't broken the law, there's a process. I think you talked about this, Pat, about paying a tax and all that stuff. But the shift is now, they removed 700 agents out of Minnesota. So to me, that's giving them the victory. Okay, and then this is Trump's talking about the recap about what he wants to do with illegals now. Go ahead, Rob.
Many countries opened up their prisons and dropped them into the United States. Those are the people who are getting out. And we have a lot of heart. They said, you got to lighten up on this.
Got to lighten up.
We have a lot of heart for people. They came in illegally, but they're good people, and they're working now on farms, and they're working in luncheonettes and hotels and all. And we're looking to get the criminals out right now, the criminals. And
but that's the shift.
I think it's very important.
The thing was, anybody, you can pause it. Anybody that was here illegally needs to go. That was the initial message, and everybody was on board. 78% of Americans were like, let's go. And 90% of Republicans were like, that's what we want. So it's like weird.
That clip is from last year, though.
Yeah, last year. Yeah. But what I'm saying is it's still happening to where she's getting fired because of the image, but the job that she's doing is amazing. There's been how many crossings, Rob? 0? zero illegal crossings. Well,
I have a complete different perspective on this.
Yeah.
If you're married and you get offered a job like this, and you're, like, imagine what your schedule's like right now working with Trump.
Ridiculous.
What do you think your schedule's like?
Bananas.
What do you think? What do you think you're doing? What do you think you're at? What do you think you're traveling to? What do you think you're doing? Late nights.
No, it's 24/7.
It's 24.
Your phone's on.
7. Nonstop.
Sleep on airplanes.
You literally have no life. It's not a job for everybody. And there's an impact on your personal life. A lot of these guys, when they get in, I mean, we're going to see the news 12 months later, 18 months later, what's going to happen with the husband and wife, if there's anything there. But there's a difference between being a governor of a state and you come home to your family every night and you're a 1 hour flight away, 2 hour flight away from coming home because you're running what? South Dakota? I think, is that where she was? And Rob, am I saying it correctly? South Dakota, if I'm, I believe I'm saying it correctly. Yeah, there's a difference between that and versus having a job like this where you're on the road. That is a very, very hard job. When I was in the Army, I wanted to go 18 Delta because I spoke 5 languages. And they said, before you do 18 Delta to, go become Special Forces, go interview with them to see if you want the life or not. I went and did the interview, and they said, how you want to live? He says, look, he says, hey, Jackson, how many marriages? I'm on my 4th. Yourself, 3. You, 3. You, 2nd, but we're about to get a divorce. You. That's what he did. Crazy. He says, but let me tell you, the stories and the things we've done is absolutely amazing. We saved it. You got to love this job more than anything else you do. This is a very, very, very heavy job that it's not for the average person. Not saying she's average, but there's a lot of consequences of getting a job like this. Adam.
Well, I'll give you my take. It's about time Trump fired somebody. Whoever it was, we need a shakeup. You can't rest on your laurels. And if you look at the cabinet that he's put together, in my opinion, she was one of the first to be on the chopping block. Her or maybe Pam Blondie. But you got Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War, crushing it right now. Rubio, maybe the best ever. Scott Bessent, doing great. Lutnick with the tariffs. We'll see where that goes. Obviously, you have Bobby Kennedy doing his thing. So, in my opinion, she had a tough job, and she's a pretty face, and you have to put lipstick on a pig sometimes. He thought you'd put a pretty girl in there and make everything look nice. This is an ugly job. Tom Homan, getting people to shut down the border, getting people out of the country. This is not an easy job. And in my opinion, he looked at her and he goes, all right, pretty girl, tough job. Maybe we can put lipstick on a pig, make this thing look a little prettier than it will be. And nobody cared. So now he brings in this tough guy, Mark Wayne Mullen, and he's going to get stuff done. So it's time to get serious with ICE. You could put N in front of the word ICE and call it nice, but it's not nice. People, I agree with Vinny. There should be a pathway for citizenship for the vast majority of these people. But the criminals got to go. The illegal aliens that are not so spirit got to go. This is what we voted for. That's my opinion. By the way, this guy, Mark Wayne Mullen, do you know where he went viral? Do you remember when Pete Hegseth was being accused of not being prepared to be the Secretary of Defense of War?
Yes.
Rob, I sent you this. And he's like, really? Talking about sexual misconduct. This is the perfect callback. When he goes, how many people in here don't drink on the job? How many people in here when we're doing votes go out and do a little happy hour and come back? Give me a break. Give me a joke, is what he yelled out. Do you have that? This is what put him on the map.
Afghanistan, where 13 soldiers died, and we left thousands of Americans behind underneath Secretary Austin's lead. Did one person get held accountable during that time? I don't know of anybody that got held accountable for Afghanistan withdrawal. But let's talk about that. Let's talk about the turmoil to which my colleagues on the other side of the dais wants to talk about. Let's talk about that turmoil. Underneath Secretary Austin, who was a general, by the way.
You might need to go forward when he talks about
I remember this because he's talking about the drinking.
We can't watch the whole thing, but I remember it.
But
this has to do with
has she not done a good job?
Thing.
But let's be honest. I think she's done a good job. When your personal life and the traveling and stuff, and you can't stay faithful, and that's the image. That's when you got to go. She did. By the way, she was doing a fantastic job. I feel safer with her doing behind the reins, but her being the Alejandro Mayorkas. The border is secure. When you knew he was lying, the border was wide open. But now when you're cheating on your husband, allegedly, he's cheating on his wife, and he's been in rumors about him hooking up with chicks all the time. That's a bad look on the administration. The job is good, bro. The job is fine because Trump's given the orders. Close the border, easy money. Get rid of the criminals, easy. That's it. I think she's doing a good job.
Here's the question.
What?
Kristi Noem went viral about a week ago on this show. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. What's your take on what happened with that interview?
Or the firing being because she was on the show?
I don't
here?
know. I mean, she went
what
viral.
She
because
went
of
viral for is talking about how they were spying on her.
Yeah.
She talked about the story of them being spied on and in her office, and Elon Musk helped find out who was spying on her. And that clip was all over the place. But I don't think if that has to do with this. I think a part of this has to do with the, you're talking about this clip here that she had.
This
Yes,
was
and
everywhere.
Yeah, this was everywhere. But no, this is based on the hearing. This is based on the hearing. And the way the hearing was done, you have to realize Trump likes people with not having loose lips.
Mm-hmm.
You can keep secrets. Trump likes guys that are good on media. They can handle themselves well. He likes guys that know how to fight back, right? Fight back and defend. And you kind of know how to, what's the thing he says?
Maneuver,
Weave.
yeah.
And
It's
maneuver.
called the weave,
Yeah,
BD.
he likes for you to be able to have that.
Yeah.
And
Stay on message. Don't get in front of him.
if you watch the press conference, between her and Bondi was extremely aggressive, attacking back. What about you when you did this? What about this? What about this? And what about that? That's Trump style. And Kristi kind of went in a different style and like almost over-explaining herself. And he says, yeah, I don't know about this. We have to kind of move on. My opinion on what happened. And then, look, it is what it is. You got to move on and get to the next thing. And when we met her a few weeks ago in D.C., it was when the tensions were already high. Nobody really knew what was going to happen next, and it led to this. So let me get to the next story here. Next story I want to get to is Nancy Grace. Rob, you want to play that clip? I mean, Nancy, this kind of leads to that. House kills...
Nancy Mace.
I'm sorry, Nancy Mace. House kills effort to release all congressional sexual misconduct and harassment reports, which is kind of weird, right? The House on Wednesday voted to scuttle an effort by Republican Nancy Mace to shed more light on sexual misconduct allegations against members of Congress. And here's what happened. In the vote, by the way, just so you know how close it was, 357 to 65.
Wow, that was really
The
close.
House voted to refer the Mace resolution to committee, a move that effectively killed it. Go ahead, Rob.
All right. I support Representative Mace's subpoena here, as well as the amendment to it. And I just think it's really disgusting how this institution protects itself, because y'all just half of them voted to send this stuff to House Ethics, where it's going to die. We know that members of Congress are using taxpayer dollars to pay off sexual harassment. We just had a member of Congress literally sexually harass a woman that then lit herself on fire, and you guys all protected him. You guys all protected my own side, your side. And so if you guys want to talk about victims, if you want to go out and virtue signal, and then you guys are going to kill her stuff on the floor and then try to pass it. Yeah, of course, we should subpoena all of this stuff. But I'm not going to sit here and play games. I think it's a complete fraud. I think that's why the American people hate us. I think the midterms are coming up, and everyone should go on record for this. And I hope that members are exposed for this. I hope it goes back, to the 70s, because it's wrong that it's happening. It's wrong that we cover up for it. It's wrong that we can't censor our own side because people are busy making deals because you guys don't want to censor your side. It's a deal that's been cut, and people hate us for it. So, yeah, I support it.
Tom.
Yeah, alcoholics vote against bill forcing bars to close early. It's like that's exactly what we have here. This is an embarrassment. This is an embarrassment. And what they're saying, ladies and gentlemen, and this really is so disappointing. This is why the Epstein files aren't out. This is why you have controversies and things don't get out. Because if you have one moment of transparency here, by the way, this is also why we don't have the line item veto. The line item veto, remember they talk about this, Pat? The line item veto would say that you could look inside of a bill and say, wait a minute, this is an Inflation Reduction Act. Why do we have $1 billion going to Ukraine? How is that going to reduce inflation? That line item comes out of here. So it would force us to be voting on very specific things. But what you have here is you have a corrupt system. And the corrupt system doesn't want to have light shown into the dark corners. Because if you show light on this, guess what? Half these people don't get elected, Pat. We're going into election. How many people do you think not get elected if this comes out? If this,
what do you mean? 357 of them.
Now you're not it's no longer allegations of impropriety. It's like, Senator Oshana, was $40,000 paid to Bubbles Jenkins that worked on your staff and supposedly had a harassment thing?
Bubbles Jenkins, I like that
right.
one.
It's like, yeah, that's a private matter. No, the American taxpayer paid $40,000 to Bubbles, and we have a non-disclosure agreement.
Is this true, Vinny?
But Pat, that's what would happen. And what we're hearing about is these are $10, $20, even $50,000 settlements that we're hearing about, Pat. And if all of these go out, half these people wouldn't get reelected in the fall because it's no longer an allegation. It would be truth.
How disgusting. Like, if you think about this, guys, 182 Democrats and 175 Republicans said, you know what? We're not going to release it.
Well,
We're
it's
not
almost
gonna,
bipartisan.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Right.
And by the way, on that list, just to make a point, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Ilhan Omar, Jamie Raskin, all these, I don't want to hear any of them say one thing ever again about transparency with Epstein. Ever again. They're voting to protect their own people. And I'm going to quote the late, great George Carlin that he said, it's a big club and you ain't in it. It's all, Pat, they all take care of each other. They all look out for each other. You know who she was talking about?
You know Omar's protecting somebody because can you picture her sexually harassing someone?
Oh,
impossible.
Yeah, exactly. So a former you know who she was talking about? Paulina Luna, Pat? Republican Representative Tony Gonzalez named Regina Santos Avila. She died in September 2025. She set herself on fire in front of her own home in Uvalde, Texas. They ruled it a suicide. Later reporting revealed that she had an affair with Gonzalez while working in his office, which violates the House rules. Okay, and text messages showed that the congressman asking her for explicit photos. This is all disgusting, and you named it, Tom. Look at the timing. Look at everything that's happening with Epstein, okay, about what they knew and what they didn't know. And this is why. This is why the trust in government, the Gallup poll, 16% of Americans, only 16%, trust the government. They cover up everything. You have the DOJ lying about this. You have them lying. It's Pat, I've never been this disgusted and disappointed ever in my entire, once I realized what politics was, than this right here. That's a spit in the face. That's us saying, hey, you know, my other friends on the aisle, we're going to protect you. You protect us, and let's keep going. Only 65. How many of them said that?
And this is protecting the guilty? Imagine what happens when now you have protecting the guilty like this, and then you're going to have condemnation of the innocent because there's going to be AI that comes out in the middle of elections. And it's like, wait, I never did that. I wasn't with that. Oh, no, you're on this website. You're over here. You're doing this. Just wait. We're not going to be able to tell the difference between truth and fiction in the mudslinging that is our election system.
Thomas Massey, I want to say last year, came out and he was held a piece of paper in Congress. He said 17. So look at this. That was perfect, Robbie. Thank you. 17.2 million was paid out for various workplace disputes from 1997 to 2017. Guys, in 20 years,
that's almost $1 million a year.
Almost $1 million a year, Adam, just for tell people to shut up. And by the way, that's tax dollars. That's our money to keep girls from not saying anything because of the perverts that are in Congress. Okay, this is unbelievable, but it's infuriating. They're all perverts. It's like Epstein Island in Washington. No, Adam,
264. That's like half the number of. That's a little under half the number of electoral votes.
Call them perverts. But by the way, I'm still shocked. You're surprised by all this stuff.
No, I'm not. No,
we expected.
Adam, I'm not. I'm disappointed and I'm disgusted. I'm
your
not shocked.
expectations are here.
No, Adam,
and then reality hits here.
But Adam,
I'm not shocked. What I'm shocked is the vote. The size of the gap of the vote.
Come on, guys. They're going to protect themselves. That's like saying, hey, guys, we want to do term limits. We're going to take a vote. No, there's no vote. Hey, guys, we want to increase our pay. Yeah, we all vote for it.
Balanced
Come on,
budget
guys.
amendment, line item veto. No, can't have that.
But Adam, but I don't want to hear. But here's my point: is I never want to hear. Adam, these are the people making the rules and the laws for me and you to just live our lives. They're disgusting human beings, Adam. You want to cover up the fact that sexual harassment, Adam, we don't know the level of what they're talking about.
Let me try to explain maybe.
What? Explain what? I didn't
let me explain maybe how politics and power works. Remember the song back in the day from the Lox and Lil' Kim? She goes, first you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the respect. So you get money, power, respect, and then you got sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So what's the famous quote about when someone has money just like power? Money doesn't change someone. It just reveals or amplifies who they already are.
Truths.
So these people take power. If you're a disciplined person that gets stuff done and you're going to be faithful to your wife and not be a total creep, you will be that person when you get money and power. But if you're an impulsive person who's reckless, once you get the money and the power, you're going to do weird things. And that's what these people are doing. That's my opinion on this.
But Adam, you know what they should be doing? You know what just happened a couple days before
Their
this,
job?
the day before? No. Yeah, on top of that. Pat, you saw what Tim Tebow came in front of Congress, sat there, and was talking about the Renewed Hope Act.
Pleading for the protection of kids.
And Rob, I sent you the photo of this map. Pat, do you mind if I talk about this really quick? So, Representative Lauren Lee, this bill would add more than 200 specialized DHS agents focused on identifying child victims, prosecuting predators, and working through the massive backlog of cases reported by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Guys, in 2024 alone, the organization received more than 20.5 million tips and 29.2 million incidents of child sexual abuse. Now, during his testimony, and for you guys that haven't seen this, look at this map. He showed this map in front of Congress in the United States, more than 300, Adam, and 38,000 red dots. Each dot represents a unique IP address that has been caught trading or distributing child sex abuse material. This is just 6 months, Pat, okay? 6 months, and the majority of this material is child rape material. I hate that I had to say that word. They're watching this daily. And mind you, this is 6 months. And these aren't, mind you, the average offender, Pat, of these people have 13 plus victims in their entire lifetime. And
Stop it.
13 plus victims, meaning physical victims, average in their lifetime. Tim Tebow did this in front of Congress. Now, the majority of these cases, guys, that you're watching on this map were children younger than 12. It's the fastest group of child trafficking victims is 12 years old. And what's not even more, do you see the blue map? The blue dots, Rob? Go to the blue dots. Those are actual investigations, Patrick. Look at the blue dots. Those are the only investigations happening from all these disgusting demons that we're surrounded by. So, Adam, to the point, they're worried about protecting perverts in Washington. This is the problem.
Okay, so
this is what you need to be doing.
Let me ask you one thing.
What?
And I'm being dead ass serious.
Okay, go.
If you could only stop one of the two following things, if you could only, Epstein Island or all this, what would you want to see
I think
stopped?
it coincides, Adam.
But if
I
you
think
had
it's
to pick
both.
one.
I think it's I'm not saying it's like a gotcha question, but Adam, these are the same people, and mind
Vinny,
you, these are. Hold on one
let me
second.
help you out.
Go ahead.
This is what the problem is.
No, Adam, it's no. I believe they're both connected.
Okay,
Let me.
of course they're
You
both
asked me. Let me
connected.
finish. Can I finish?
It's sex
Adam,
trafficking.
Let me.
This is the worst.
Adam,
the worst,
they're watching
and it's
children
happening
get raped.
all-
These
yes.
people are watching
This
children
is the
get raped, and they're
problem.
getting off on it.
This has nothing to do with Epstein, is my point.
Yes, it does.
There's
They're
a
predators.
problem in society. Everyone's so focused on Epstein. We're losing sight that this is the problem.
Okay, can I say one thing?
That there's millions of Epsteins.
Are you ready?
And stories you never hear
Okay,
about.
are you ready for this?
And everyone's so focused on Epstein.
Let him
when
make
this
his
is the
point,
real
Jesus,
story.
Adam, you asked a question,
Go,
bro.
Vinny.
And you just go. How do you ask a question and then
Go.
go on a
Because
Vinny,
I asked
go.
you to pick one and you can't
No,
do
because
it.
because Adam.
Let him explain. Go
these
ahead,
are
Vinny.
6 months of people using IP addresses in the United States looking at child rape.
I get it.
Let me finish. Do you think any of these people in 6 months are involved with Epstein or have been to the island or knew Epstein on these dots? And just 6 months. This is all connected.
This is separate.
No, Adam.
You're saying all
you
these
think,
people were on
Are
Epstein
you ready
Island?
for this? Do you think everybody that's been involved with Epstein, everybody, from the Clintons to everybody that they're not sitting in the United States right now watching child porn? You think because they left, hold on, you think because they left raping or molesting or murdering, cannibalizing these freaking girls that were trafficked, now when they come here, everyth's fine and dandy?
Vinny, do you know what the iceberg effect is?
No, I
pull
love
that up.
Titanic. I know that it sinks the ship.
This will help you. Go show an image of the iceberg effect. And in my opinion, this is what's going on with Epstein. That you only see the top little part of the iceberg. There you go. Any one of those. And that's probably not the best one. Okay? Everyone's so focused on Epstein when the problems go so freaking deep. And yes, Epstein is a convenient villain. He's also not here to defend himself. He's the devil. The problem is society has a freaking problem. All those little dots, hundreds of thousands of them, they weren't all on Epstein Island.
Okay.
It's weirdo creeps in all different types of rooms and cities with their computer. The iceberg effect. Here it is. Thank you, Rob. You only see 10% of above. This is what you normally see. You say, this is what's going on here. When the real story is 90% below. So in my opinion, Epstein, if you want to put it this way, is the noise. The signal is the 90% that there's creeps in society that we need to focus on. And the real, true villain is your boy, Alejandro Mayorkas, that let hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of kids be exposed to what's going on here. So I don't have, I feel bad for the Epstein victims. I get them, but there's dozens of them, hundreds of them, whatever. There's hundreds of thousands or millions of kids that are dealing with those red dots. Put those red dots up again. If you can, Rob, that's the real problem here. And everyone's so focused on Epstein, and I get it. It's a great story to talk about, but this is the real problem.
Adam, but
brother.
you know why people are focused on Epstein? And to me, it's a trickle-down effect. The problem with the Epstein thing is it was going on forever, and everybody knew, Adam, that those dot-type people were not only making decisions, were not only involved with pandemic stuff and shadow 9/11 commissions. And I get what you're saying, Adam. We are surrounded by these disgusting demons. We are surrounded by them.
I agree that.
And this map is only hitting the ones that are stupid enough to go online. What about the sophisticated pedophiles, Adam? What about those people? So the argument, I think your argument doesn't match that. I'm not even focused on Epstein. What I'm saying is, Adam, they're everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah,
they're everywhere.
We're saying the same thing, and
I'm going to get to the next
focus
one.
on the everywhere.
To me, the difference is one is the guys that have power and they get away with using their power.
Yeah.
The other one is the regular day-to-day person that nobody knows that's getting caught up out there, and that's these guys. So
And
both
there's
are
so many more of
necessary.
them.
There is so many more of them, but the other guys get away because they have the power, and so they're using it for leverage, and if effectively, you know, the whole concept with Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, how Mossad. That's a very, very different conversation to have. But I get it. I get the argument both of you guys are making. Gavin Newsom blasted after agreeing with Kimmel, California is overregulated. It seemed like an admission of failure. Rob, do you have that clip?
I do.
Gavin Newsom and Jimmy Kimmel. And by the way, Rob made a good point. Rob said he thinks this question that Jimmy Kimmel asked is because of Adam
Carolla.
Adam Carolla was asking this question, so Jimmy kind of duplicated the question. Go ahead, Rob.
Why does it take so long to get things built here? I feel like, is California overregulated? Because it feels like there are a lot of well-meaning laws, rules, etc., that get in the way of building your house, of opening a restaurant. You know, I've experienced this myself. What do we do about that?
No, I mean, we need a liberalism that builds, and we have to own that. And I'm very much part of this sort of new nomenclature. We call this abundance agenda, and we've got to reconcile that. We've got to be more focused on time to delivery, not just rhetoric, not just what we're for. We got to actually deliver and manifest it. That's why this year we did the most significant housing reforms in our state's history. We did something that hadn't been done in decades. We've tried to address land use reforms, what we call secret reforms. We weren't able to get it done. We finally were able to get it done this year in a meaningful way. But this is a meaningful topic for Democrats to recognize. We have to deliver on big and bold things. Trump breaks things.
Oh, God, here we go.
Democrats need to build things, but we have to actually deliver on that promise.
Speaking of
that
Trump,
means reform.
But like that's called a nothing burger. For anybody that knows what a nothing burger is, he asked him, why is it so hard? And he went on this diatribe of what we need to do, and it ended with Trump.
We need to reconcile. We need more focus. We need to get things done. Okay. Put a date on it. Show people that you've got it accomplished.
Then why haven't you done it?
By the way, the land use reform. Be careful.
Be
careful because you've got the coast and you got Palisades. They want to put high density, low budget housing in there. They want to take that land back. A person that works for us here, I won't say his name out loud. The family had a home burned down in Altadena. They came back and they got a lot of reports about the materials that are in the soil, because when it burns down, it's burning plastics, burning things. Tremendous contamination goes into the soil and it gets saturated in there because the fire department comes to take it out, and then rains and everything. So now the soil is deeply contaminated from the ash and the things that were burning, the plastics and everything in your home. So then they're like, hey, we got to do things with the soil here. We got to do things. And they're stalled. People are stalled. They can't get it done. They eventually got a house for an older family member across town. They had to find another place. And it's kind of a fixer-upper. And that's a perfect example. That's not an isolated example. This is normal. And so he's sitting here talking about this. Meanwhile, they're intentionally running legislation and running things in all these names to take the land and reuse it for their own purposes. That's what's happening in Palisades. You can talk to anybody that's out there that gives you chapter and verse.
This is the next one here. When Rob, which clip is this with Newsom?
This is where he talks about Trump in the midterms.
Go for it.
Prediction.
Trump is an historic president, historically unpopular. He's going to get crushed, shellacked in the midterms. He is. He's toast.
The crowd goes wild.
And he knows it. Why else did he call Greg Abbott, saying he's, quote unquote, entitled to 5 seats in a mid-decade redistricting? They, of course, obliged in Texas. What Trump thought would follow was maybe a conversation about writing an op-ed in California to try to win the argument as they're consolidating power. Instead, we decided to redraw the lines and over a 90-day period raised $120 million, and we kicked his ass in November and redrew the lines. And Jimmy, this is I know we're all prone to a little hyperbole. This is not hyperbolic. You saw what happened on January 6th. Tried to wreck the country, light democracy on fire. Dialed up for 11, 12,000 votes in Fulton County.
It doesn't work anymore.
That's exactly what he's doing
This is not
all across the
work.
United
You can pause it right there, Rob. This is not going to work with independents. It's not going to go to Calshi, Rob, to see where it's at. I don't know. I'm always curious on a day-to-day basis where it's at. If you go Calshi right now, Democratic 2028, that language with the American people, it's unattractive. You're still bringing up J6. He's at what? He's at 27?
By the way, he was 29 a couple weeks ago. Now he's 27. Take a look at the trend line. It's gently rolling down. You see that?
Yeah, AOC is 9.2. Shapiro's 3, which Shapiro is the most reasonable one amongst the 3. Let me see the list on who's next. That's $57 million. John Ossoff is 7. Shapiro 7. Kamala Harris 6. Pritzker 5. Tallarico, who he just won recently, if I'm not mistaken. Kelly 4.
Democrat nominee for Senate in Texas.
Yeah, it's not over yet, but it's still going on. So, yeah, that language is not going to work. I don't think it's going to work with the independent voters.
I agree.
And I think the Democrats have to kind of sit there thinking about who the hell is going to get the independents to say this guy's reasonable.
What do you think of Shapiro here with this kind of numbers without being on TV every week and without traveling to foreign countries the way that Gavin does? Shapiro...
Let me ask you a question. You think America is ready for a Jewish, white, Democratic president?
I don't think so. Nope.
You think America's ready for it?
No.
So that's the part you got to be thinking about.
No, and as a Jew, I'm telling you, we're not there yet. No,
but
also a straight white man is probably not going to be the guy in the Democratic Party.
What if he says once in high school he liked a boy?
Then that'll garner some respect. Can I tell you what I think? Adam, it's because America's never forgiven the Jews for the Titanic. That's true. Thank you for that. Goldberg, Silverberg, you're all the same.
But you know what it is, Pat? When I see Gavin Newsom,
it was like a racist, anti-Semitic dad joke all in one.
Yeah,
thanks, bro.
It's an
killing the game.
But you know who Gavin is, and
what's your favorite position on the football team? The quarterback. Hey, all right, bingo.
But in regard to Gavin Newsom, and I hope, because I'm hoping with the Democratic Party, which is crazy, he wants to be the president. But look at the resume. He's almost like a pet shop owner. This is Gavin Newsom. He's a pet shop owner that let every animal in his pet shop die, but now he's asking for the keys to the zoo. He wants to run the zoo. And it's like, bro, you suck at just taking care of goldfish. You want the entire zoo.
Goldberg also.
Goldberg, but I just hope, and I have to hope, that the voters that are on that side that are just anti-us, anti the other side, realize what he is. He's a snake in the grass. He is probably going to go down as the worst governor in the history of the country. That's not, Tom, that's not just a small... Who else would you put up there?
But he's a gifted politician.
Tim Walz. I'd put Tim Walz up there.
Tim Walz is up there, but Gavin, but that says a lot.
I'll give you my take on Gavin. So this comes down to winning and losing, just like politics is. So you remember in the movie White Men Can't Jump, one of the greatest movies of all time? You have Wesley Snipes and you have Woody Harrelson.
One of the greatest movies that we like.
Yeah, we like.
One of the greatest movies of all time. I don't care what you say.
One of the greatest movies of all time. Rosie.
So you got Woody Harrelson and you got Wesley Snipes. And you got Billy Ho. And you got Sidney Dean. And Rosie. You're so stupid, Billy. And he says this, Woody Harrelson. He goes, would you rather win or look good? Because in my opinion, this is what Woody Harrelson says to Sidney Dean. He says, I'd rather look bad and win. You'd rather look good and lose. The Democratic Party is all about looking good, and they got the hair and do your little leg thing, and they'd rather look good, and they have horrible policies, and everybody's losing when they come into power. Versus Trump It's ugly. It's messy. But like DJ Khaled, all he does is win. So that's what it comes down to. So do you want to win, even if you look ugly, or do you want to lose and try to put lipstick on a pig and look pretty? In my opinion, Trump talks about winning so big, you're going to get sick of winning. Right now, America is winning. And if Gavin Newsom shows up, get ready to hold that L.
I can set myself aside from his personality, the way he is, and political differences, and say, okay, let's set that aside. I respect strategy. Even an enemy of mine, if I'm going up against him and I see the strategy, I'm like, oh, good for you.
Mm-hmm.
What a great. I don't understand the strategy. You're bringing up J6. You're bringing up, I don't understand what is the, you have to recreate yourself. You know, last night, I'm talking to one of my sons. It's late at night. It's just he and I talking because, you know, typically it's both of them when we're going to sleep, but one of them is out of town in Idaho, out of all places. But anyways, so I'm speaking to him, and he says, Dad, sometimes you call people low identity or high identity. What's the difference? What's the difference between low identity and high identity? So you kind of put the onus on me. I said, low identity, it's always someone else's fault. It's bitter. It's you can't improve yourself. You know, you're somehow, some way, you don't have the right instincts. You always find yourself in bad situations because you can't read people well. You can't read situations well. High identity is in the mode of constantly recreating themselves. We had a client yesterday, massive company that we eventually became owners of this company. They have 400 employees, 300 employees, grew the company from negative $300,000 in EBITDA to $14.9 million in EBITDA. I'm sitting there yesterday for them. I'm doing a 2-hour engagement with this company, very successful company. And they had a team of 9 people, 8 people in the room. And we start measuring podcasts, YouTube channels over the years and how when we got first started and, you know, took us 1,000 subscribers. 2 years later, we barely had 1,000 subscribers. And we sized everybody up. We had charts looking at all the numbers, seeing what these guys are doing, those guys are doing. I said, I shut down the channel 3 times. And one time I shut it down for 3 months. Tom, you remember this?
Yep.
And I said, the only reason I shut down the channel 3 times is because we had to find a way to recreate ourselves. We had to find a way to recreate ourselves. You don't see that with this. You have an opportunity to go away. Go watch Count of Monte Cristo. Come back a different candidate. You sound the same as 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. You think independents are going to want to root for you? I don't think so. You think this is just an enemy of Republicans? You already have the Democrats. You don't need the Democrats. You need the independents to win. Yep. He doesn't have it. I don't know why he's doing what he's doing, but it is what it is. If he ends up becoming their leading candidate and America's doing half decent and there's a lot of victories, Marco Rubio is probably going to be your president.
Hope so.
2028, if it continues this way. Rob, where's that story with Anthropic about the sentient? Do you have that story of Anthropic here in the notes? Guys, this is a crazy story. If we have it to go to it, is it on any of these pages? I'm trying to find this. I think this would be a good last story to finish off on.
I don't have that. I have Anthropic being designated a supply chain risk by the Pentagon. That is in here, but I don't have that.
Yeah, it's a different story.
You're looking for the Anthropic response from the CEO yesterday after...
No, the story I'm looking at. We'll find it. We'll cover it next week. Having said that, we can wrap it up. Guys, today's what, Rob? Today is
Friday, sir.
Today's Friday. Terrence Howard's interview went out yesterday. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. With that being said, we will do it again, I believe, next Monday. Rob, we're back on Monday.
Yes, sir.
Have a great weekend, everybody. God bless. Enjoy yourself. Stay safe. We'll do it again on Monday. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.